What's going on, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. My name is Knackers, and today is Sunday, December 15th, 2019, and then this is episode 105, aka 115. I didn't mess that up earlier, but anyways. But this episode is a free-for-all, and on the show tonight, we have Mr. MiddleAgedStream and BishopGP. Middle-aged, how you doing tonight, dude?
I'm doing all right.
Good to see you, buddy. And Bishop, Mr. Beanie Bishop, the newest co-owner of datacox.com. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right.
Good shit. Well, hey, if any of you guys, we're going to get to these hot motherfuckers in just a second. During the show, if any of you want to ask a question to be answered during the Q&A near the end of the show, all you need to do is type !Q in chat, followed by your question. And then the bot will grab that and we'll answer those a little bit later. If we are not live and you would like to ask a question or submit any kind of feedback, feel free to shoot me an email at podcast@knackers.com. And lastly, if you enjoy the show and you love us, please just leave a review for the podcast on wherever the fuck you feel like iTunes or Spotify. How about this? We're gonna sell out. You send me a screenshot of you giving the podcast a rating, and I will thank you personally via DM or letter. You know what?
Or Cox communication devices.
If you, let's take this to the next level, because at first I was gonna be like, yo, I'll just send you $5. If you send me a screenshot of you rating the podcast on any podcast platform, I will mail you a handwritten letter and some type of drawing and maybe some candy. It'll be sealed candy.
What if you gave them a cap from one of the beers that you drank on the podcast?
Ooh, yeah. You can lick it and it'll have your DNA on it. And then if they know anything about science, they can clone you.
So basically you're saying I should give them a gift equivalent to like lint. Like belly button. I actually do have belly. Do you guys get belly button lint?
Sometimes.
A little. I get dog hairs trapped in my belly button. Like I get like dog hairs and all kinds of hairs.
Speaking of hairs in the belly button, I don't know how many of you have actually like tried to separate flesh in your belly button, but I looked at mine the other day and there is an insane amount of hair coming out of my belly button. And it's like super fine and super smooth. What are you doing?
I'm taking a picture like this. Look at it. It's me giving the thumbs up to the podcast.
You gonna put that on Instagram?
I'm gonna post that, dude.
All right, tag me, please.
Do you want me to tag you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you can't tag me, I can't add it to my story.
Nah, dude, I'm not tagging you, bro.
Fucking shit. Anyways, all right. We're gonna go around the room and introduce you guys to everybody that is here. They'll throw out their social media and all the goodies. So, Mr. Bishop, who are you, and where can we find you online?
I am Elliot Bishop, aka BishopGP on Twitch. I'm also Knacker's very best friend. He doesn't know it yet. I was formerly Jimmy's best friend, but he shaved his mustache, so fuck Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I've lost a lot of friends this last week. My name is Jimmy, aka MiddleAgedStream. You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at MiddleAgedStream, MiddleAgedStream on Twitter, and Guy with No Mustache on FarmersOnly.com.
Ooh.
My name is Knackers. You guys can find me on this very channel or on Twitter and Instagram at Knackers with 3 A's. First and foremost, what are we drinking tonight, brethren?
I am drinking a Titan Cider Works Washington State apricot cider.
Show us.
And here we go. It's a beautiful bottle.
Closer.
Closer. Oh, God. Oh, let's see if we can. Do you want me to focus it?
Yeah, I want you to. Yep.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, bud.
That's really nice right there. We should just leave this. Every time that I'm on here, we'll just have the drink up here. It's usually lychee, but
can you get it closer?
Yeah. I want you to Jomo Senpai and hold your hand up the entire fucking podcast.
Okay. My arms, they played too much World of Warcraft, but my fucking wrist. And fuck.
My feeble fucking wrist.
Oh shit! I gotta hold this. In my hands, I look like a really tiny. This is just like the size of a 40. I look like I'm a really small person, or this is just a huge bottle. It's like the size of a wine bottle.
I
see this.
Oh, that depth of field though.
Isn't it nice?
Is this a tight depth of field or loose? Hey, I saw that. I was able to make that up.
That's
okay,
tight.
the shit's tight, bro.
Dude, this is. You know what's interesting? This is so blurred out that like all you see is my eyebrows. And from my eyes.
Yeah. Well, okay. Open your smile like really fucking large. You look like fucking Mario. Oh my god.
You audio listeners are really getting a treat with this part of the podcast.
Yeah, this is a great moment. I wonder if this is blurred out enough to be considered like FCC safe. Like if I was just to pop a nip out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As in like a sensor, you could totally whip your pee out. Okay, can I be honest for one hot second? This is an honest thought that went through my mind. Did either of you, I know, Elliot, you're not on Instagram a lot. Did either of you see the picture of the stall sign that I put on my Instagram story earlier this week?
I'm always looking at your...
It was a sign inside a toilet stall.
Yes, I did see that. And I'm trying to remember. It was something that... I'm trying to remember what was on it exactly. But I do remember. It was like someone wrote something, right?
Danger, toxic. Please read the following message. Your mother lied to you when she said you smell like roses. Please leave the light on and the door closed after you are done. The fan only works when the light is on. So
I remember that.
I was taking that picture and I took it and I hit upload. I'm like, what if my dick is in the picture? Because there's a little bit of a reflection in the stall wall. And then I'm like, oh, wait, it's really blurry. And then I'm like, wait a minute. So I took the camera to an angle where I could see my dick. And I fucking wiggled it in the reflection of the stall. And it looked fucking hilarious. You could almost tell that it was a dick, but you weren't really sure if it was a dick. And I'm like, I'm so close to uploading this because it is. I was just going to go wiggity, wiggity, will and fucking wave my dick in the reflection. And I said, you know what? We're going to do a hard pass, but we're going to retain the information that a toilet stall wall is just reflective enough to where you could maybe censor a penis if you needed to.
Yeah. Wait, Dr. Disrespect, were you taking bathroom pictures?
Listen, Dr. Disrespect is not the one that had the camera. It was his buddy.
Alex!
No, I didn't keep the video. I'm actually terrified of keeping that kind of stuff on my phone. There's no lewds, there's no boobs, there's no dicks. There might be one dick. And I'm not going to say whether or not it's mine, but it might be on there.
Do me a favor right now. Take a picture just like of your screen, right? And then open up the photo just in your gallery and show it to the camera and tell me what you feel. Like, tell me if you feel nervous when you do that.
What?
Oh.
Like, take a picture right now. So you have a picture in your phone.
Of my screensaver?
Of your screen or your face. Anything. Whatever you have in your room that you can take a picture of. Like a chibi or whatever, right? And then look at that picture, like this one. And then show it to the camera and tell me if you feel nervous. It made me feel nervous because I was like, oh God, I don't know what I have on my phone. Like, it's Jimmy. Oh, it's Jimmy's phone.
I don't know. Like,
does that make you feel nervous? Because I know a lot of people, like, if you're meeting, if someone's like looking at your phone or you're showing someone a picture, like I always get nervous that they're going to start scrolling. Like, do you ever have that?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything on my phone that I would need to be nervous about. So
I just, because iOS has the video autoplay. So like someone would be like, oh, cute dog, cute dog, cute dog. Get that ass sucked, bitch. And I'm like, oh, but, sorry. But no, as soon as I give my phone to somebody, if they start scrolling, I go, easy. You might see something you don't want to. And then they go, oh, and then they give the phone back usually. Today.
I mean, that's a no-go though. Like if you hand your phone to someone and they just start scrolling through a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
That's not right. You shouldn't do that.
Totally not right. I think they're looking for some dick pics, dude. They're looking for some shaft. They're like, oh, you know what? This guy just handed me their phone. Let me see if I can see a dick real quick.
I was going to say that my mom does that the most, but now I'm uncomfortable. My mom is always fishing to try and find something in relation to my stream. Like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to find a username or a picture or something.
Does she have Instagram?
Yes, but she's blocked.
Oh, okay. I'll hit her up. I'll just send her a message. Be like, I'm live on the Knackers.
Oh, I thought you were going to send a dick pic. I'm like, dang, man.
No.
Just happily married, I think. Dad, right?
Dad, is everything okay?
No, today on I remember plugging in today. I did an art stream today on my iPad. I was really just drafting my kitchen, but I plugged it in and I started doing a display capture, and then I thought, what about all of the things that could pop up? Because my iPad has LTE, so it gets all my text messages. So if I was streaming and somebody sent me a text, their name is going to pop down and a thumbnail of a picture. So I'm like, wait, fuck, how do I do this? So I just turned LTE and wireless off, and I just had Bluetooth on for my Apple Pencil, and it went out okay. But like on my home screen, it shows my town and the town name and the weather. And like if I have a widget that shows my upcoming calendar events and it says somebody's full name, and I accidentally like swipe up and it goes home, and then it shows all of my widgets with all my personal information. That made me nervous. But what I've found is that if you are super conscious about what you're doing, like anytime I have desktop capture on, like before I even switch to desktop, I look at every single icon on my desktop. I check my taskbar to see if there's any apps that are open that maybe have like an email account that I don't want to be seen. I do like a once over every fucking time. I
just did that just now. Like what I've been looking down every like 5 seconds. I was creating a little Instagram story of just like saying I'm live on the podcast. And I took the first picture I had like all of the bars or like my bookmarks at the top of Chrome.
Yes.
And I was looking at it just now, like, is there anything I don't want people to see? But there really isn't. But it made me take a new picture. So I have a new picture now.
This is going to creep you out a little bit. And this might creep some other people out as well. Have you ever noticed that uploading a video to Twitter takes a super long time and always looks like shit afterwards because of their compression and everything? And Instagram, the video uploads at almost the same quality as you took it, and is almost instantly uploaded. And the fucking trick to that is when you open up Facebook and you go to post, like if you're maybe thinking about posting an update, how does Facebook know the last 5 pictures that are in your camera roll without having access to it? Now you gave it access, but to increase load times, do you think maybe the platform is pre-uploading your most recent media so that when you actually hit the upload button, it's just there?
Interesting.
I don't think so, because not on your phone, because that would still be the data. You know what I mean? You would notice a data change. I'm sure there'd be a way to monitor that. On the computer, perhaps.
No, that's what I'm saying is on mobile, like next time you upload like a minute video to Instagram, watch how fast it fucking uploads. And you're like, oh, that's available and ready to go really, really fast.
I'm the worst
that's just a local.
I'd never do that.
Is that just the client side, like where they're uploading? So one thing I was wondering, because I noticed something similar. I wonder, like discoverability wise. So like, let's say, let's just create a little environment, right? Like if I post something that's against TOS, like something super pornographic on Instagram, right? Well, pornography is kind of allowed on Instagram now, but let's say it's kind of like boobies. You can look at boobies nowadays. Like as long as we're like there's like some stuff that's passing now.
Okay.
So despite that, so basically, let's say you break TOS with a video. I wonder if discoverability wise, your followers are able to see it right away, but it doesn't show up in any of the other search algorithms. So like you basically they're still approving it, but your immediate followers can see it. I wonder
that's
if
super interesting.
That's how it works, because I know that from a client side, there's no way that they're encoding video that fast. Like that's like immediate from an iPhone, right? And it's lossless.
Right. So I always wondered about that. I'm like, this is becoming available really, really, really quickly. And then again, yeah, the same thing with Facebook. Like, oh, how do you know the last 5 pictures that are in my camera roll? And obviously, like I said, you have to grant it permission, but they're already seeing it, and it's being somewhat imported into the app for you to see your photos within Facebook's app. It's like, oh, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Huh.
Makes you
Interesting.
think.
It could just be like a CSS code that is on the play or on the client side that just pulls like your most recent pictures too. You know,
right? But why are you touching my shit before I say upload? That's what true. I don't like.
That's true. I understand what you're saying. It's interesting. They're probably just stealing all your information, dude. You're fucked, man.
How long do you think every bit of your personal information has been public? Like, at what point in your life did you guys think that everything there is to know about you, social security number, birthday, email, name, address, how long do you think that has all been public information, or at least sold once? Like, all of your info at least sold once?
I don't know, Nick.
Oh my God. Are you serious? It's all right. My name's Darren. Fuck!
Yeah, sorry, Darren. Fuck! You just got doxxed. I think it happened probably the first time that I signed up for like Gaia Online or some bullshit game. You know what I mean? Like,
Gaia and Neopets?
Yeah, it's Neopets. Swords and Sandals fucked me, dude. They took my information and they sold it. That's when it happened.
Swords and Sandals.
Do you remember that game?
I do not. That sounds like a knockoff of like Blade and Sorcery.
Swords and Sandals. I want to see if it's still available.
Now, Jimmy, I know you don't care about backups, but how do you feel about personal data security and weather?
I mean,
And traffic.
Tell me about your traffic.
I guess I try to keep my stuff. The thing is, if you're really, really determined and you're intelligent enough to do it, there's plenty of ways you can garner little nuggets of information to kind of piece together about somebody to figure things out. And there's fucking weirdos out there that do that sort of shit. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the moment you start, I it's not something I worry about. I try and be cautious about, because obviously doxing is a thing, and the swatting issue and all that sort of stuff when you're talking about live streaming stuff. But, I mean, it's not something that like, I think if you just use common sense, I mean, you're good. I don't think that's something that you have to constantly be worrying about. You just have to, not. I mean, use common sense when it comes to the information you put out there.
Now, for someone that doesn't have common sense, as myself,
well, you say that, but I know that you have an understanding of online. One thing and this is something that it was funny because your last guest was kind of talking about this a little bit when you did the 1v1 Jomo. But one thing I agreed with, he went out and he was talking about those little classes he does with kids, and he was talking about online safety and those sorts of things. Like, they don't teach that shit in school enough. Like, they really should be teaching kids of this generation and teenagers too. Like, there should be classes on what you should or should not be doing on the internet. And they don't have anything like that because a lot of the people that are teaching those classes are fucking boomers. So, you know what I mean?
Fucking boomers ruining
boomers
Ruining the future.
the worst. Well, you have to imagine, like, if you look at it nowadays, how many kids that have an iPhone are on Snapchat? Like at the age of like 10 to 15 years old. It's
a lot.
Probably a lot, right? And a lot of like grandparents and stuff use Snapchat to talk to their kids, but the same platforms used to send dick pics. You know what I mean? So like, it's interesting, right? Like, you're basically like, I hate to use this term because it's so cheeseball, but like gateway, right? It's a gateway application, right? Like, you send a picture to Gma, and then 2 seconds later you're getting a dick pic. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same platform. So it's interesting because people are subscribing to those. Jimmy brought up a good point. Like, if you're a kid, you're being introduced to that app for the benefit of it, being able to communicate with your family members and send pictures, right? Like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. And then, there's also bad parts of those apps, or there's usage that isn't really necessarily what parents would ultimately want their kids to be doing, right? So I agree. I think that they should teach kids how to like look at, first of all, internet security. But the challenge is that schools don't even teach kids how to do their fucking taxes, which everyone actually has to do. You know what I mean? So it seems to me that step maybe needs to come first, but there's some classes that potentially need to teach some common sense things. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of, I know this is kind of going off in a different subject I wasn't trying to get into, but it's me being a teacher. I can tell you right now, at a public school, public high school, there is not enough curriculum for the common sense type things that kids should know before they get a diploma and walk out. Like, I love history and I love teaching history, but if I had to give up 2 weeks of my class so that I could teach kids basic fucking internet security or basic how to file a 1040 EZ.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I would happily do it because that's a skill that a lot of kids they just don't get, and I think as a society, part of the problem is this isn't something that can be solved overnight because the Department of Education, they don't really control a whole lot in the way of like making these curriculum changes. It's up to the individual states to do it. So it just really depends on the state and then the school district and then all, because I know there's some schools out there that are probably doing stuff like that, but the vast majority are not, and it's unfortunate.
And then you got privates and charters that they choose their own curriculum. They don't have to abide by any fucking laws. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah. And that's a whole another problem issue with those types of schools, the for-profit type charter private schools.
I guess they're busy putting together DARE and teaching kids that methamphetamine can be hidden in a Gatorade bottle in your fridge, and
right,
Gatorade, you'll die. Do you remember that, Knackers? Did you get?
Yes.
Do you remember that story, that specific story with the Gatorade bottle, and the girl drank it, and apparently she was poisoned by methamphetamine because her mother was keeping methamphetamine in a Gatorade bottle in the fridge? Like,
yeah, people hide their drugs. Sane people.
Gatorade bottles.
Yeah. No, we got the don't smoke weed. Still to this day, when I tell mom that I partake of marijuana like once or twice a year, she goes, Nicholas, what happens if one day you smoke a joint and it's laced with PCP? I'm like, Mom, who the fuck is gonna put $100 worth of PCP in a fucking joint? Like, what? They could sell that shit. Why are they going to just put PCP in a fucking joint? It doesn't happen. She goes, well, I don't know. It kind of sounds like something Chester the Molester would do. So you just got to keep your eyes open.
It's like those fucking like stupid news stories about people drugging kids in the Halloween candy and putting like the pop brownies or pot candies and shit like that. Like, no one's fucking doing that. They're not wasting their drugs on kids to hand it out for free.
They're putting razor blades.
They're using it themselves, man. They ain't fucking doing that. Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, my mother, and it's so funny because I remember having this conversation like a while back. I'm like, Mom, do you understand that there are people who smoke as much weed as possible just to see how high they can get until they pass out and they still don't die? So what does that tell you for the general population? It's probably a little bit different than cigarettes, and it's a lot different than motherfucking alcohol. And I remember one of like my first months on the job, I was working at a hospital, and it was when the bill had just got passed that recreational sales of marijuana was going to be allowed. And there were these two doctors that were lying out of their ass saying that there are recorded deaths from marijuana use. And I'm like, there are no fucking recorded deaths. You are both lying. I'm like, no, I am not like 99% sure that there are people who have died. And my mom gives there's people who smoke weed and then they jump off buildings because they can fly. I'm like, no, Mom, that's PCP. We're talking about fucking weed.
Those motherfuckers got their weed laced by their drug dealers, and they took the PCP weed pot drink and he fucking jumped off the building. I think what it comes down to probably is like the Department of Transportation, the DOT, probably someone dies in a car accident, they test him and they're like, oh, this guy has weed on him, like this guy was high, right? That's probably where they see like 5 to maybe there could be hundreds of deaths like that, right?
Yeah,
but it's like a stupid, like if that was actually a problem, then why wouldn't they ban alcohol, right? But that goes into a whole other thing, right?
Yeah. Because alcohol makes money. That's why.
Yeah, it's hard to tax something you can make in your closet, right? But you can make alcohol in your closet too, but it tastes like shit, right?
You know what? I actually have a friend of mine. Shout out to Colin. He makes his own wine and mead, and it's fucking good.
Is it good?
It's really, really good.
Oh,
yeah. He also
don't let them find it out, dude. It's not good.
You can make weed in your bathtub too.
I have a friend that makes beer, and it's very okay.
Yeah,
but it takes him like, a couple weeks to do this. I'm like, if I want beer, I don't want to have to store it and do all that work. I just want to go buy the beer that I fucking want. You know? That's just me. Oh, speaking of beer, I am drinking.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's how that went.
Nice segue.
I am drinking a beer called Bat Country. It is a coffee stout. And as I was telling Bishop earlier, it's called Backcountry because it's out of Fourth Tap Brewing, which is it's a brewery in Austin, Texas. And Austin, Texas is home to millions of Mexican short-tailed bats that hang out under a bridge in Austin. And so, like, you see the little bridge in the background. And it's a decent little stout. I give it a 3.75 out of 5. It's not bad. And then because my beloved 49ers lost today, I went ahead and filled up the whiskey glass, and I've got some Glenfiddich 14 Reserve, and I got a little bit left that I'm getting ready to refill it here in a minute.
That's your Sarah McLachlan glass right there.
It is.
Yeah.
In the eyes of an angel.
You can fund a streamer today with just one Twitch Prime.
49ers fan needs your help.
There was something we were talking about earlier. Oh, swatting. Knock on wood. That is something that I really haven't heard a lot about lately.
I think someone went to prison, so people stopped doing it.
Yeah, and there's I think the other reason too is I was having a conversation with the police officer. We have a police officer who's like assigned to our campus at the high school I work at, and I was having a conversation with him about that actually, and he said that that they're kind of aware of those sort of things that happen. Now, I think police in general are aware of those particular type of scenarios, so they're not just going to come in guns blazing and that sort of stuff. So, yeah. That's my
really hope so.
I'm just totally anecdotal evidence. I don't know. I mean, I talked to this police officer, so obviously that's the reason why.
They're right on top of it, dude. They know. It's like the call center. People are like, "Hey, we need help." They're like, "Oh, this is a swatting call. Let's that one right up. That's not one."
If you're in danger, blink twice. I'm on a fucking phone. Yeah, it's just there was a time when those types of calls were very, very common. And it was like every other week, I felt like I was seeing something on Twitch or something on Twitter or something, on a fucking Polygon article.
It's just extreme. It's like extreme prank calling. I remember back in the day, I had friends of mine that would call their buddies and go drive out front and hide in the bushes and call pizza and get a pizza to come and show up at their door. And watch as like they were kind of like fumbling, like, no, that wasn't our pizza. We ultimately would end up paying for it. My friends would. Yeah. So they would end up paying for it at the end of the day, but as a prank. But I think it's kind of like that. It's like that extreme version of pranking people with phone calls, right?
Why did you have to go in the bush?
Because we didn't want the pizza delivery guy to just see like who stands in front of a house while someone's delivering. Like three dudes standing out front of a house while a delivery guy comes up and delivers a pizza that's not the recipient's pizza. We would prank call, or we would call in a pizza.
Oh, wait, you said it was your friend.
It was my friends. I witnessed it. So I'm speaking from their perspective.
Okay, got it.
We would call a pizza, or we would go to our friend's house, either park a car down the block and watch, and we would call the pizza place. We'd have a pizza delivered, and then we would sit and watch as the pizza guy came up and knocked on the door, and then they would sit there like, dude, we didn't order a pizza. What the fuck? There's one time that they paid for it and bought it, and then we went and gave them cash for it. And then the second time that it happened, they knew it was us, and we ended up just paying the pizza guy. But it's like we would prank call. We would basically set up these pranks, and we thought it was hilarious. But that's like the extreme version is swatting, right? Because you're watching something happen that you're calling in. I think the reason that it hasn't happened is because someone went to jail, right? Like as soon as people start going to prison, people are like, I'm not going to do that anymore, right? Like I'm probably going to stop.
Posers.
So, yeah, fucking. Well, it's a good thing, dude.
Whatever happened to good old-fashioned regular prank calling? Of course, it's now with caller ID. I mean, and all that sort of stuff. Prank calling is a thing of the past. But I remember, I don't know how many of you guys listen to this. Did you guys ever listen to the Jerky Boys?
Yeah,
like they were called the Jerky Boys, and they had these CD albums and cassettes that they would sell. Like it was like in the early to mid 90s, and their albums were basically just full of prank calls. And they had these different characters that they played on them, and they were fucking hilarious. And so My friends and I sometimes, that was in middle school, and I think I might have been as late as me being maybe a freshman in high school. We used to get the phone book out sometimes, and we would fucking prank call people in the phone book. Like we try and find like stupid names. Like we'd find a guy named like Richard Anus or Anus or something, and be like, is Dick there? Dick Anus? You know, and shit like that. And it's just, we used to do, I mean, kind of harmless, you know, but we used to prank call. Of course, nowadays, nobody, because if you see a number on your caller ID you don't recognize, you just don't answer it. You know? But yeah,
I think the best prank call that I ever did was, I used to live in this golf and country club neighborhood when I was a kid. And we called.
My name's Bishop. I grew up in a fucking country club.
But there was a lot of like old people in the neighborhood. So one of the prank calls my brother and I did, there was this lady up the street that we fucking hated. She was just the worst, right? She always was always calling security on us and being a total pain in the ass. So we called her one time pretending to be from the fire department, and we said, "There's a rampant rattlesnake increase in your area. So there's rattlesnakes everywhere." And she's like, "Oh God, my dog's outside." And she like went and got her dog inside. They were watching while this was all happening from the golf course. And we were fucking with her and telling her that there was like an incredible increase in the rattlesnake population in her current area. So don't go outside. Like lock all the doors and make sure that
lock the doors.
Make sure that the windows are closed. It's because there's rattlesnakes everywhere. And that was a good one. That was like the funniest thing I've done.
And we wonder why boomers fucking hate us.
Oh, dude, all the prank calls, man. That's why they were like, okay, get our fucking Republicans and Democratic congressmen to vote on technology. We need Cox to come in and put caller ID on every fucking phone. And then I don't care what it costs, even if they fuck us on our internet plan. We want caller ID so these kids can't fuck with us anymore.
I think this makes me sound like a big bitch. However, this is just something that I've come to realize about work. I do not like practical jokes at work. Like when you come in and you fucking got a Post-it note over my mouse, or you wiggle out the power cord on one of my monitors, like just enough to where it looks like it's still in, but it's really just the tip. I get really fucking mad when my space gets fucked with, or like my belongings get fucked with at work. Like I really just want to be like, I'll get you next time, Brian. Like I want to do that, but at the same time, I'm just like, motherfucker, stop touching my shit. Like I take it really, really personally, and I don't really know what to do with it. Like I feel like I should be the opposite end of the spectrum. Like I feel like I could just be like, oh, it's okay.
But
like,
in reality, you just want to plow fucking Brian with your car in the parking lot. You're like, I'm going to wait for you to come out, bitch.
Brian, get out in the parking lot. I'm going to plow you. Open the hatch. So yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like when I go to work, I want to do my job. Like I don't want stupid shit kind of hanging me up. I came into my job a couple of weeks back, and somebody had moved my chair out of my cube. And I came in, and like a teenage fucking girl, I like came in, dropped my backpack on the ground, and went, "Where's my fucking chair?" So fucking angry. But
you would hate working with me, dude, because I do practical jokes all the time. Like on my coworkers, mainly the coaches I work with, not like other teachers. But like anytime someone, like I do stupid shit, like I'll flip their mouse controls to like right is left and left is right and shit like that. And it just, I mean, these guys, like, they can't fucking, they're like, oh my God, it's broken. It broke my computer. And they'll be like, Jimmy, can you come fix this? Because they know I'm like, you know, a tech guy. I'm like, yeah, let me come check it out. You got $5? Or I'll do shit like if they leave their email open, like their Gmail account, like their school Gmail account. Like one time I sent an email to somebody else, like a fake email. Like it was a real email, but it wasn't from that actual, it wasn't anything bad really. But you know, and then later they were asking about it. And then one time I went and changed, because you never see it unless you go in to look on it. I changed someone's signature line in their email. And so like it had like their name, and it had like the classes they taught, and then it had like their titles and shit. And then on the bottom, I just put Sith Lord.
See, okay, that kind of stuff is okay. You're not You're not hindering, somebody's workflow. You're not fucking with like their physical belonging. It's just a tiny little thing. That kind of stuff I'm okay with.
Okay. Well, I do like to do that sort of shit. And then what the funnier part was they didn't see that till like they didn't know, and I had forgotten I changed their signature line to like 6 months later, and then they had sent me an email, and I still saw it in the signature line. I was like, oh shit.
6 months?
Yeah, man. Sith Lord in the signature line.
Oh my
I wonder if
God.
it just became like a casual thing. Like at that point, people are like, "Oh, he's just a Sith Lord," and then once you told him about it, he redacted. Fuck, no longer a Sith. Oh shit.
Oh my God. It's been demoted.
I like to photocopy. Like, there's pictures of some of my coworkers in like the program that they sell at the football games, and I'll take their picture out of the program, photocopy it, and then blow it up so it's like a real head size, like this.
Dude, you look so young.
I'll take it and I'll put them like, and I'll cut out their head and I'll put it in like different places in the building. Like I put one in the coach's like bathroom, like in the ceiling tiles, like with just the eyes sticking out, like looking down over the toilet, shit like that. It's just, I don't know, man. It's fun. It's a way to kind of like the drudgery sometimes of work and the grind sometimes of working long hours. I like to do stupid shit like that because it kind of helps break it up a little bit.
I'm just imagining Knacker's working for you or with you, and he's sitting on the shitter. He's taking his shit, and he's like, "Fucking motherfuckers." He's looking at his email. He's like, "This fucking Sith Lord keeps emailing me." And he sits back and he looks up. He's like, "Fuck." This guy looking at me.
Like,
hell yeah.
If I was ever during the Vine craze, all of those Viners that were fucking with people in the stall next to them. If that ever happened to me, if somebody wiped fucking Nutella on one of my shoes or like asked for toilet paper, and started fucking with me while I'm shitting, I would have been so angry. Cause like, here's the other thing. Why are stalls in America so exposing? There's giant cracks in the door, so you accidentally make eye contact with people who are washing their hands, and like your feet, like people can see your feet while you're taking a shit. There's no soundproofing. You know, when you go into a bathroom at like a super nice casino, and each poop station is like floor to ceiling, sealed. They got the frosted glass that turns on and off when you open it. Like, that's where it should be absolutely everywhere. And the fact that urinals are still popular, like urinals without dividers, where you literally have to stand next to somebody when your fucking Skechers rub side by side, and you
see, I don't, that doesn't bother me at all.
I'm a little pee shy.
It does not bother me one bit. I get that for some people it is a thing, but like for me, I don't give a shit. You can stare me right in the eyes when I'm taking a shit, and it ain't gonna slow me down.
Go ahead, Bishop.
Hey, I was gonna say it'd be funny if like some like protesters, they had two means of like changing the world, right? Like fixing men's bathrooms. The first route of action that they take is whenever the bathrooms are completely packed, or even if there's one guy in the urinal, you just go and try to use the same urinal as him at the same time. You know, like that would immediately that would throw people off so fast. Not only that, but like if people just started shitting in urinals, you know, like if someone just like walks up and he's like, "What's up, bro?" He just drops his pants and starts shitting all over the back of the urinal. Like that kind of shit would get changed so fast based on that.
You just gave me a great idea. And maybe one day I'll get the courage to do this. As if there's only one urinal open, I'm going to go stand to the urinal next to somebody who's already peeing, but I'm going to aim my schlong so that I'm standing at my urinal, but I'm peeing into their urinal.
Oh my God. Dude.
And they just act like nothing is happening. And they'll either notice the extra stream or they'll just be like, "Oh shit, this is really impressive. Holy crap, that is a micro penis.
Yeah,
that's really impressive."
Dude, I don't know. I'm like, I flip flop between extrovert and introvert. Like most of the time, I don't want to talk to anyone, right? Like don't want to sit in a urinal next to someone. I don't want to have any interaction with human beings. And then the other part of me, and I think it's a way for me to like break through that barrier, is just to try to make things as awkward as possible. Like I'll pull up to a red light with Casey, and I'll look over at the car next to us, and there's a person just sitting listening to their music, and I'll like look at them, and they'll finally look over. I'm like, like just get all stoked and start waving at them, or like if there's construction guys and you kiss as you go past. But I think cars in general, like driving and fucking with people. Like I used to drive my car around and like wave at everyone that I saw. or like drive next to him. I had this PT Cruiser when I was a kid that was a manual.
Oh
and
my
I pull
God.
up to lights next to like Camaros and Corvettes and shit, and look over at the drivers and go and like look at them and like the front would skip, and I'd try to like beat them off the line. I used to do so much stupid shit like that just to like bug people. That like for me, I feel like it's a way for me to break out of like my introvertness, if that's introvertedness.
Yeah.
And just like screwing with people and making them feel uncomfortable, like reaching down, like the handshake kids used to do where they'd reach down to the penis, they just like reach straight down and like go to shake the hand down there, and people are like, oh, you know what I'm talking about?
No,
No,
I do not. Yeah, demonstrate. Pull your shorts up to your fucking dick and then show me.
So like instead of shaking hands here, you'd go straight down to the penis.
Oh, their penis.
Yeah, their penis. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like you put your hand down near your penis so they have to come meet you.
Or that, dude, I've never done that. I don't think that they'd meet, but it's just awkward. It's like people have to like reach down by their penis to shake your hand. You know what I mean?
You gotta unzip your zipper and then put your hand into your pants and then out the zipper hole to shake it.
Oh shit. So yeah, I don't know. Like I like flip flop in between being like trying to be professional and like introverted, and then being like a total spaz and just fucking with people all the time.
I do not make eye contact with people while I'm driving unless I do not fuck with people on the road, dude. People who are driving are already 50% more angry than they were the previous half an hour. And when like just from watching so many like road rage videos and crash compilations and shit on YouTube, I honk less. I try and scream less. Like I'm less aggressive. I do miss having a stick shift because downshifting, brake checking people is one of the greatest things in the history of driving. But I've really, really toned down how I treat other people in the car, because I would be so mad if I died. Like from somebody either just like running me off the road, or like if I ever did something that angered somebody. Like I always have this fear of somebody trying to shoot me and then me dodging and then the bullet hitting my girlfriend, and then being like, oh, not only did I engage this traveler and they shot, I dodged, completely forgetting that somebody else was in the car, and now they're dead. So I have to live with both of those things. So now I've really changed how I try and treat people on the road, because I'm extremely paranoid. Must be all the PCP and the weed I've been smoking.
I hit people with the PCP, the laced fucking marijuana you've been smoking. I hit people with like when they're road raging. Like Casey, there was this guy, we were driving to the airport a few weeks ago, maybe it was a few months ago, but this guy was like tailgating her onto the freeway, and it was like a interchange, and she was on the ramp. This guy was just like right up her ass, and then he gets over and he's like about to give us the finger, and I was like just waving at him and smiling, hey, I love you. And then it's weird because people expect you to give them the finger so then they can get even more mad, and like me just throwing up the hey, how's it going, like a wave, like getting him all excited. It was like I made eye contact because I was in the passenger seat, and I could just tell that like his soul had left him. He's like, how do I be mad? Like, you were supposed to flip me off. Like, he's like, fuck you, I love you.
Pull over, I'm gonna fuck you till you love me.
Yeah. So I think throwing people off, like, because they're just expecting you to be super fucking pissed off at them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, driving is the only time. Now here's two ways that I still like to fuck with people on the road, but it's not like, you okay? You switching out a battery out? Bishop is just like the great. Oh, you can hear me already? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Fuck that guy. There's two ways I like to fuck with people, but it's like I'm gonna think that they can't get as mad as they could because they don't know if I'm just a really bad driver or I'm doing it on purpose. So if somebody is riding my ass and I'm coming up to a turn, I will take that turn as slow as humanly possible. And they'll give off like a honk or like their hands will go up in the air, but then they're just like, oh, that person sucks. And they just keep going on with their day. Or I don't know if this is just me. This might be a little conceited, but I have this driving force. And by force, I mean like Star Wars force, where I can tell the way people maneuver, like if they're gonna try and get in front of me or trying and just do something stupid. So if I see somebody riding my ass, as soon as I see them get over to try and get around me, I'll speed up so that they're boxed in. And then I will accelerate so that they think, oh, this person's finally going to go. And then they get back behind me. And then I just let off the gas and slow down.
Dude,
and again,
I would have a fun time driving, dude.
Yeah, oh, we would have a lot of fun. So those are like my two exceptions of things that I do on the road. And I try to think there's probably a reason they need to go so fast, right?
Yeah.
There's probably like, who knows what they're going through. But then I think there's no reason you need to put other people's lives in danger because of whatever you have going on in your life. So I'm like, I'm going to fuck with you for a couple seconds. Like just a little bit. Yeah. Just don't ride fucking ass, dick.
Yeah.
Unless it's mine.
Get off that ass, dick.
Get out of my ass. Well, I think we can, after an hour and 10 minutes, we can get into some actual topics. Before we get into the one and only topic that I saved for tonight, do you guys have anything that you wanted to get into or get off your chest or ask?
I threw in one, and only because it's coming out. So you guys know I'm a Star whore. The Star Zone, right? New Star Wars movies coming out this week. I'm fucking excited. I can't wait to be there opening night. And if you have not been under a rock, or if you have you've probably seen some sort of social media tweet about this in the last couple of days. There was a huge event for Fortnite. Now, you guys know I'm not a Fortnite guy at all, but the event was a Star Wars Fortnite event. So they wanted to show, they were going to show a clip from the new Star Wars movie in this event, right? So I was home by myself. It was yesterday this event was live. My son was with a friend at the movies watching Jumanji. My wife was out doing something else. I was just home by myself. And then I totally forgot this was going on. And then I saw I think it was Twitch that sent me an email. It said the Fortnite event's starting for Star Wars. So I was like, oh yeah. Well, I don't give a fuck about Fortnite really, but I do kind of want to see a little clip from the Star Wars movie. So I pulled up Twitch. And I was watching the Twitch channel, and they were doing something stupid. They were fucking changing, it was basically if you were streaming Fortnite, and I guess if you were a partner streamer, they were changing who they were featuring every 10 minutes. And but some of the people they brought up on Twitch in the front page were just these streamers that I was like, why the fuck would they even? Okay, but anyway.
Small streamers everywhere. Twitch, we need more discoverability. Jimmy, pour these fucks on the front page.
Yeah. But anyway.
I agree.
So I watched it, and the thing was kind of corny, kind of cringe a little bit. I do like some of the Star Wars stuff they added to Fortnite. It was kind of neat that you can use lightsabers and shit, and that was kind of cool. But
no way.
Yeah, you can use lightsabers in Fortnite right now, and they had a Millennium Falcon come in, and there was some new dialogue. There were these TIE fighters chasing the Millennium Falcon around. It was kind of cool. And then they showed a not even a minute long clip from the movie. And I'm not going to say anything about it because if you didn't watch it or want to see it, you can easily find it on the internet. But and I know some people may want to avoid any sort of spoilers for Star Wars, so I won't say anything. But it was cool, man. It just made me more excited for Star Wars. This week, I can't fucking believe I only have to go to bed 4 more times, and then I get to see a new Star Wars movie.
Pretty dope, huh?
I'm excited.
That's crazy. So they added Stormtrooper outfits to Fortnite as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to buy my son some fucking V-Bucks so he could get all the Star Wars shit.
Holy shit. Dude, that's badass, actually. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is I wonder how many more movies they can add to the game before it's just kind of this pop culture trash heap of shit,
It can get crowded if they are not smart with it. I was so fucking pissed because this Fortnite event was the first one since I started playing Fortnite again that I was going to be able to participate in.
Oh, and you were
what
locked
the fuck
out?
Happens? I get
servers.
No, I had to go to work. I was working.
Oh, that's right. Dude.
Yeah.
Well, you might not have been able to get in anyway because like the servers were crashing left and right, and a lot of people couldn't get in.
That's what 42 said. Even a lot of the big streamers couldn't get in. So after I was literally on my way home while the event was happening. And so I just put Twitch on my phone and it was playing through my car speaker. So I didn't really see anything. I was only listening. But, when I came to a stoplight, I would peek over. I'm like, you know what? I was mad before, but then afterwards, I'm like, what's the difference between watching it on Twitch and watching it at home on a computer? Like, it's still a pre-recorded thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it would have been cool to pick up a lightsaber from a chest and fucking slay somebody in half. Sure. I was pumped that I was able to see it. I think that those events are just absolutely genius. They're genius. They get people involved. Fun fact, that event had double the amount of viewers on YouTube Live than it did on Twitch.
Huh.
There were 1.1 million people watching on Twitch and 2.2 million people watching on YouTube and 34 watching on Mixer.
That's because I saw your brother tweeted about that and I went to go check. Dude, Mixer was down for a while yesterday. Like it was just totally just crashed. Like I couldn't open the Mixer app on my phone. I tried to go to the website. It wouldn't open. It was just spitting fucking web code out. It was something happened.
Yeah.
It just went down hard.
Have you noticed that ever since a lot of these streamers have moved over to both Facebook and Mixer, that Twitch has really stepped up their social media game with putting out content featuring streamers? Like, first of all, the whole thing with saying goodbye to, was it Shroud? They had a goodbye video for Shroud. They had a goodbye video for somebody else. And now they're putting out almost weekly. They have these new videos that are going out on Twitter that are like, hey, this is the shit that's going down on Twitch. And they feature a bunch of these streamers. Even the advertisements for streams are...
Dude, if I have to watch that fucking Coke ad one more time, I'm going to break something.
That one
Jesus.
It is
Coke
fucking
Gaming.
annoying. Yeah.
Coke Gaming. Like, shut the fuck up, please.
That was the first time
video.
Was the first time I heard of Code Gaming, to be honest, was that ad. So it worked. By the way, I am drinking Sam Adams 76, the refreshing lager. I already had a Sam Adams cherry wheat, and they're both delicious.
Nice
am I a basic bitch for liking Sam Adams beers?
No.
Okay.
Sam Adams is basically like low-level craft, but I will say that Sam Adams is still way better in my eyes than drinking a fucking Coors Light or like a Budweiser or something.
Because where else can you get a good cherry wheat? Like, there is no other beer that tastes like cherry wheat to me.
I'm not a fan of cherry wheat, but I'm glad you enjoy it.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Dude, they
hard.
added Star Wars to fucking Fortnite. This is actually sick. I've been sitting here with it playing just because I had no idea that this happened.
I'm sorry, are we boring you?
No, dude, you guys are incredibly boring like usual. But this Star Wars is fantastic. Honestly, it's cool. There's fucking Fortnite kids using their lightsabers.
Yeah.
Brother, this is fucking Star Wars, dude. The
Again,
Star Zone. Holy shit.
How long has Fortnite BR been out?
A while, man. Like
2 years?
now. Yeah.
Still,
Forever, dude. Feels
to
like
this day, who else is doing shit like Fortnite?
Nobody.
Nobody. Why?
Is Fortnite? So like obviously Fortnite's like the best marketing engine that you could ever have to direct content towards kids, right? Like any sort of like any Walmart or brand or even like a Star Wars or Star Trek or any sort of like entertainment brand marketing to kids through Fortnite's the greatest idea ever, right? And like for me, like I just spent the past 5 minutes watching this thing. Like what a great way to incorporate both worlds, right? But at the same time, like how many of these things can they add before it's just this big heap of fucking trash, right? Like what's the entry level? Like didn't they have something with Stranger Things, or am I misremembering that?
I have no idea.
Not that I know of. They did one with Marvel, obviously.
Yeah.
I remember that was the last big one they did, right? For a movie.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to
It reminds me of Lego almost. Like it's like a real world Lego.
yeah, that's actually a great way to put it.
Like,
yeah.
Lego is the ship of which people market, right? Like they apply their brand to Legos, right? And then Legos don't necessarily, or Lego characters don't necessarily change to fit the brands themselves very much, right? Like
skinned.
it's just, they're just skinned differently, right? And then like the different parts are arranged in a way that they basically build anything within the game or within the world of Lego, right? But
Right.
nowadays, like Fortnite's kind of becoming something similar to that. Like Fortnite as a brand is like this platform where all these other companies are able to market and apply their brands too. Like you can run around as a stormtrooper and fight John Wick. Like that's pretty badass. Like rewind like 20 years to when I was a kid, or 10 years or 5 years or 3 years to when I was a kid, or 10 days. I used to like sit and play with characters and like have them fight. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
As long as I was really anal about like the scale of cars and shit when I was playing with them, like I didn't want to have like a huge Mustang and then play with like a small car. Like they all had to be relatively the same scale. But the fact that I could play with like cars from different universes and or like characters like G.I. Joe characters from different universes was badass. And like to me, this is kind of like if it feels like that's what Fortnite's trying to do. Fortnite's trying to make themselves this brand that other companies can apply themselves to in order to market to like this young audience that all that they want to do is crank 90s out like badasses. But additionally, like the fact that you can sit and fight and have like what seems to be pretty calculated like little lightsaber battles is pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
like, that's pretty badass. I'm like having John Wick have a lightsaber in his hand and fight like a stormtrooper is pretty fucking sick.
So
like,
my son is 8 years old, and he had a friend spend the night yesterday. His friend came over at like, I don't know, like around 5 or 6 last night, and he was at our house till about 6 o'clock tonight. And they spent, I don't even know how much time. They both have a Nintendo Switch. They were playing Fortnite on the Switch in their rooms, and they were doing these different freaking like all the different Star Wars stuff in the playroom and everything else. I just thought it was kind of neat that the way they integrate all these big things in pop culture, and it obviously works. I mean, what they're doing works, and we started this conversation with Knackers mentioning why isn't anyone else doing this? Obviously, the platform that Fortnite has now is no one is close to it. You know what I mean? For that gaming platform, they have an audience bigger than any other gaming platform. But you haven't even seen anyone really attempt to do some of the things that Fortnite's doing, which is kind of surprising to me.
That's more my point is that nobody is. It doesn't even seem like, and obviously this could be because I'm just self-contained in my little bubble over here. I pay a lot of attention to all of the other video games that are out and about, and it's just nobody else talks about games like people talk about Fortnite. Mm-hmm. And it's because, yes, these are massive marketing ploys to deploy like these products into kids and into our homes and everything, but they're making it worth our fucking while at the same time. So it's like, I don't mind throwing $10 at a skin if it's something that I fucking love. Like, alluding to our point a little bit earlier, like, if they did a fucking Grey's Anatomy event in Fortnite, it'd be like, okay, what the fuck? But everything almost has like a little bit of a relation to gaming, like Star Wars in relation to the terrible bloom within Fortnite and nobody being able to hit any shots with stormtroopers. John Wick just going on massive murdering sprees. You know, there's things that they tie in, like people who love Fortnite. There's a very, very high chance that they also love Marvel stuff too. So it makes sense to have some skins and to also advertise a movie, because like the better a movie does, the better chance of there being a really good movie after the fact as well. So it's kind of like, yes, it's to make money, but at the same time, like they're making a really fucking cool gaming experience. Like I think when all is said and done, like when all the people who played Fortnite grow old and they look back at all of the games that they played in their life, when they think about what game had the biggest impact on them and like what game really brought the most value to their life, regardless of the dollar amount that they spent, they're probably like, you know what? I played Fortnite for fucking 3 years and it was like all day, every day. I played with friends. I played with celebrities. You know, I was able to play with my parents. You know, there's so many cool fucking aspects about the game that I truly, truly respect. And it has set an entirely new bar that is skyscraper high For sure.
Well, at what point does the Fortnite brand itself transcend the BR category, right? Because like Fortnite previously was a brand of a game, right? Like a
Right.
category of like they were the face of BRs, right? They still are to an extent. But like at what point are they going to transcend that and become just an entertainment brand, right? And then you're going to start seeing Fortnite characters outside of Fortnite, right? And then Fortnite on a package when you're buying kids toys at a store. I'm sure that's already happening.
It
right?
is.
Like,
Actually,
absolutely.
They
Yeah.
have that shit at the stores. I've seen it. Yeah, it's already like they have Fortnite toys. Like they have
Halloween
I mean,
costumes.
I see it. Yeah, I mean they're all over the place, man. Like kids want to have the different toys, the different stuff. It's crazy. It's now my kid isn't into that really, but he's kind of transitioning. He's like kind of transitioning out of his phase where he likes toys so much.
Yeah.
But he yeah, I mean it's out there, man. It's out there, and I think that's probably the idea. I would love to know, and I know they're never going to release this actual amount, but I would love to know how. I mean, it's got to be in the billions of dollars this game has made for them, right?
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be insane. I mean, they built a platform off of it, right? Like
Yeah.
Fortnite's the first game that Epic Games has made that has obviously been this successful because it's been the most successful game potentially of all time. I'm not entirely sure. It's probably pretty damn close.
They've got to just think about this event, the Star Wars event they just did. So like, I shelled out for my kid like $40 plus tax for enough V-Bucks so he could buy all the Star Wars shit, like little pack, right? Because it was like on sale for only whatever 3,000 something V-Bucks, 3,500, right? And I know I'm probably one of a few million parents that probably did that for this particular event that happened this weekend. So you do the math. So about $40 worth of V-Bucks times I don't know, at least a few million just for this weekend. I bet you their V-Bucks sales were in the like a few hundred million.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The other thing that's interesting to me is like if from the Star Wars brand's perspective, right? Like as far as an activation, like I go to a lot of trade shows and I see a lot of booths that are built up, and there's really cool brands out there. And you go to their booth and you like kind of walk in, you're like, oh, there's that thing that they make, and there's that other thing, and then you're just like, okay, cool, all right, it was nice to meet you guys later, and you just walk out of the booth. Like for Star Wars to be able to walk into the booth and then like if they had a bunch of gaming stations set up that kids recognize right from home or parents or whatever, and then you can play as those characters, your favorite characters from the game. Like what a great activation just in general. Like just being able to put your hands on something that's tangible, like being able to play with Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Like how badass is that, right?
It's cool.
It's super cool. So for me, it's like I like the, and maybe this is kind of a segue into the Game Awards kind of discussion that Knackers was going to have, but like there's a lot of crossovers that happen between like real world and gaming. Last time we were on the podcast, we were talking about how Death Stranding had like that real world actor from from a few different things come in, and he was like the main character. Star Wars,
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus, and then Star Wars also had the main character or not main character, but
the director, J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
Abrams.
Star Wars, the recent game, like that.
Oh
RPG
right.
game
Oh yeah.
They had the kid from what's the show called?
Shameless.
It's Shameless, the Shameless kid. So like, there's like crossover that happens, and you're like, oh, cool. Like John Wick, right? Obviously, that's a crossover. That's happened in Fortnite. But of all of these different crossovers, like I feel personally like Fortnite does it in the best way. Like
I agree.
The other ones feel a little ingenuine. They're just thinking, oh, they're avoiding the having to build their own character from scratch that people can that ties in the user to the player, right? Or to the character itself in the game. I feel like Fortnite bringing in characters that kids can play with, it's like Fortnite's doing it in a way that none of these other gaming brands have been able to even think about achieving, right?
Right, and I feel like now maybe the reason nobody else is doing it right now is because if anybody else tries, it might just seem disingenuous. It might just seem like a cash grab. Like, oh, Call of Duty has suddenly brought in fucking Aladdin. Aladdin 2 is coming out. Like
Aladdin, Call of Duty, Aladdin's War.
They're all, man. I saw that clip. There was a pretty popular clip that was going around of two Call of Duty casters trying to sell like the Call of Duty Battle Pass, like trying to make it sound like it was a really good deal. And oh my God, it was so fucking bad.
They're just like, yeah, this thing fucking sucks, man. Like, don't buy this.
Chat, is the new Call of Duty multiplayer game any good? Feel free to write in chat. I'm interested to see what you guys think. I've seen a lot of people playing it. I've seen a lot of clips of it online. Shroud's been playing it a lot lately. I know Tim the Tatman. You know what was funny is Call of Duty paid a lot of big time streamers to do a sponsored session of their game. Oh God! After a release of a most recent game, I can't remember what game it was.
Modern Warfare.
No.
Well, one previous to that, there was World War II, there was Modern Warfare, and then there's some other one that we all forgot about. It came just before this recent one.
Halo. On the fucking day Halo came out, every big streamer was doing a sponsored stream for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know if that's like desperation or just trying to really hold down the crown.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my personal standpoint on Call of Duty, I gave up on it after like maybe the first Black Ops. I was just like, I'm tired of buying a new game every year, right? And like the feeling of like not buying the newest Call of Duty, you boot up like the previous like last year's version, and you go to queue for multiplayer, and you're like, oh, no one's playing this. Like I feel lonely, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have a feeling of loneliness. I need to get to the new game, right? But like the newest Call of Duty, and I don't know if this happens with you, but it happens a lot with me where like you'll watch a game, you'll be like, I'm not gonna really buy that. And then you sit and you see other people playing it, you're like, fuck, that looks fun. Like that little aspect of it looks fun. I've had that with the new Modern Warfare game where I'm like, I just want to play that. Like I feel like that would be fun for a while. But at least like in my personal opinion, I feel like this Call of Duty that just came out is probably the best one that's come out in a while, right? And maybe that's what makes me want to come back and play it.
Yeah.
Is that? But I also know in the back of my mind, as soon as I boot that game up, I'll play it for like a week and then I'll never touch it again. Right? That's like part of me thinks that.
This is why I am a big fan of game subscription plans. And this is actually kind of something that we were going to talk about last week, but we ran out of, or 2 weeks ago, we ran out of time. Having the ability to play games like that quickly. Like, would you rather buy a game for $60 and then realize, oh shit, I don't like it? Maybe even after like 3 hours of playing it, there you go. Oh, yeah. Well, or spend $60. The game is awesome. I love it. My 3 best friends all hate it and nobody plays it. So I have nobody to play it with.
Yeah.
So my Origin Premier subscription just renewed over the weekend, and it was $100 for the year. And I played probably four brand new titles to an extent, or I guess not in excess, but to an extent. I played 4 games. So $240 worth of games, and I paid $100 last year. And I got to try a couple other games as well. And there's still a bunch of games that I haven't even played yet. So do you have a fear of game subscription going away and then you not owning any of the games that you've played in the past?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's kind of like to me, it's like Netflix versus having DVDs, right? Like sometimes you'll have like a favorite show on Netflix, and then all of a sudden the next month comes around, the new content comes out, and your favorite show's gone, right? That's happened to me a few times where it's like, I really wanted to watch that and I missed out on that opportunity. But I think at that point you'll just be like, oh, hey, the shit that I liked, I'll just go buy. Right. And at this point,
right,
like,
it's still
like if
available.
The subscription disappears, you could probably buy those games back for like the cost of maybe 2 months of that subscription, right? Because they're going to be cheaper at that point. But I like the idea, like the Xbox Game Pass. Like I just brought it up just now. Get your first 3 months for $1. Like this should be an ad. Come on, Xbox, hit us up.
It's first 3 months for $1 now. It used to be just
your first 3 months, and you get EA access, you get Discord Nitro, and you get Spotify Premium for $1 fucking dollar. What?
That's a really good deal. I've actually been using Spotify lately, even though I have an Apple Music subscription.
And then it's $44 quarterly. So what does that mean? Every 3 months, it's $44. So what is that?
So $15 a month.
$15 a month. but you get all that shit. That's what a great deal. Honestly, that's badass. I've been wanting to play a game called Kingdom Come Deliverance. Like I'm just looking at the
my God.
on the sheet. There's certain like games that I've seen a little bit of, but I really want to dive into and play. Outer Worlds is one of them. Kingdom Come Deliverance is another one. The Shadow or the Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, those games. Forza, any Forza game that pops up every year, you get Horizon games and you get Forza Motorsports. Like the amount of content that you get for that value is insane. I think with it's kind of like the there's this model that is the gyms use a lot. They actually make more. Xbox makes more money on the fact that people they make more money on people that don't use the service than they do on people that use the service.
Right.
So they're hoping that a majority of people that buy an Xbox will purchase this subscription and then completely forget about it. Right. So then they're making $44 per user. They're selling a new copy of every game, or they're selling every 3 months they're making $44, which is ultimately close to what they would make by selling you a new copy of a game. I think they're like $60 now, but without you even having to pay attention to that, because most people, I would assume, this is just me speaking out of my ass, but I would assume that most people that have an Xbox probably buy the new Call of Duty that comes out, and that's probably it, right? They buy the new FIFA, or they buy the new Call of Duty, and then they don't touch their Xbox very much. Or like maybe they'll buy like one or two other games, but ultimately they'll play FIFA, Call of Duty, and then they'll probably play like a free to play like Fortnite, right? And then they wait for the next year's version of that game to come out. So for Xbox, it probably makes a lot of sense with all the idle users and the casual people, because for the cost of $44 every 3 months, $15 a month, you get access to all these games. You don't have to buy them. Like it makes sense for most people, right? And that's why we're looking at it like, holy shit. But in reality, it's like, it's this gym membership program. Like the people that actively go to a gym every single month, it's probably like 100 or 200 people, but they might have 1,000 or 2,000 subscriptions to that gym. And in reality, if all those people showed up, it would be a total shit show, right?
I'm one of those people. I've been paying for the gym for the past like 5 months and I haven't gone.
Yeah. So it's like, it works for us. These subscription models are actually kind of nice. Like me looking at this right now makes me sign up just so I can try out some of these games. Sign up for the $1 a month thing for 3 months. Here's the only thing. If you sign up for the $1 a month for 3 months and then you cancel, what happens to your game saves? Gone.
Can you resubscribe 2 months later with the same account and get access to your game saves again? Or
probably. I would imagine. I think you're given a certain amount of cloud saves. And like for data, and they're tied to your user account. So obviously, if you don't have the license for the game because your subscription lapsed, you wouldn't be able to play the game and use that save anyhow. But right. I don't think it's just going to erase your saves. Now, it might after a period of time, but I mean, the saves don't take a whole lot of data anyway, so I don't think so. I think you'd probably still keep them.
It's kind of, I remember when like Apple Music and Spotify first came out, right? These music streaming services that completely removed physical media from the realm. And there was this big huff and puff from everybody who loved these CDs. They love the physical copies. I'm not one of those people. So when Apple Music first came out, I'm like, wait. I can have access to my entire music library on any device that I can sign in with my Apple ID and not have to transfer songs around. Sign me the fuck up. And here we are, years and years and years later, and things haven't really changed. And I don't think things are going to change. So I'm one of the people where I will make adjustments to make my current life more convenient and try not to be steered by the fear of the future. Like, oh, well, there might be one day where Steam gets bought or Origin gets bought out and they're no longer streaming their games. It's like, well, what are the chances that the game that I bought in 2019 is still going to be played by me in 2029 or 2035? Like, is the wanting to hold on to this thing, like, I want physical ownership over this thing, so it's mine. It's like, okay, well, is that game even going to be playable on your operating system in 10 years when Windows fucking makes the previous operating systems completely obsolete? So I'm one of those people where I'm like, you know what? There's this thing that actually kind of saves me money and it's super fucking convenient. Absolutely. I'm going to jump onto it. I feel like there's a lot of being held back by being tied to owning the thing. And I definitely think not to throw this on the boomers. It's definitely a boomer mentality of owning everything and having physical ownership over everything. And when really it's like, you know what? No, we can just rent these things. We don't really need to own them. And I'm a millennial in that sense, I guess.
Yeah, fuck boomers, man. Let's just say it right now.
Fuck you, mom and dad.
Fuck you, parents. But no, honestly, like while you were going through that, I was scrolling through just like the games that are on this list, dude. I'm convincing myself to buy this shit right now. But like the amount of games, the Division, a game that Casey bought that she played maybe like for 4 or 5 days, never played again. That was $60. All the Halo franchises. Let's look at this from the perspective of streamer, because I know a lot of people that watch this podcast also stream or are hopefully trying to stream or going to start streaming or whatever along those lines. If you're a streamer, let me give you like 5 titles. Ori and the Blind Forest, great game to stream. Overcooked, great game to stream. Ticket to Ride, you could try that out. Human Fall Flat, a great game to try out. My friend Pedro, right? Great game. Subnautica, people love streaming that. Like, there's so many games in here that, like, if you're just like, oh, I just want to be a variety streamer and just try a bunch of shit. If you bought all these games on Steam or even went through G2A, we're not going to go through the morals of that or whatever, but like, if you bought these games on G2A, you'd probably be at $100 already, right? Like pretty easily, right? So for me, like cruising through this, if I was a streamer, like, and I was wanting to variety stream and play a bunch of different games, I mean, Star Wars 3 right here, Lego Star Wars 3. I'm not going to go and spend $50 to play Lego Star Wars if I have to download it on the Xbox store or whatever on my PC. I don't want to buy it, but I'll play the shit out of that. Like, Lego games are badass. If I have access to that right now, I'll probably download it right now and play it. Same thing goes for like Ori and the Blind Forest. A lot of these like short storyline games, like that's a great opportunity to kind of hop into them without having that big investment up front.
Mass Effect, dude, Jimmy.
I have a weird relationship with Mass Effect. I've never played it personally, but my brother has played every single one of them, and I used to go and sit in his room and watch him play Mass Effect. I was like, God, this game's so badass. It's like Star Wars, but it's
awesome.
Dumb. Yeah, it's it's a dumb, shitty version of Star Wars. So it's like, for me, I want to try out a bunch of these different titles that I'm seeing right now. Like Broforce, super fun. Like, maybe you'll play it one time. Brothers, great game that you could just play one time through a stream. I own all, like, there's a bunch of these games while I'm going through here that I know personally I own on Steam that I've never played ever. But like, that mentality of owning a game kind of makes it so then there's no urgency to play it, right? Like, there's so many games on my Steam library that I don't want to play because I'm like, I've got these fucking forever, seemingly. Like, we don't know what Steam was going to do with them. Because Steam ultimately owns them. But shit, like, there's so many games on here that just while scrolling through here are convincing me. The new Gears of War, for instance, like, I'll probably never buy that, but like, it would be cool to try out. Like,
Outer Worlds,
Sea of Thieves, Lego Worlds. Like, there's so many games in here that I'm now looking. Goat Simulator, like, that's another one that a lot of people find funny. Like, this is for the value. I mean, we need to get sponsored. We need to shut the hell up about this Xbox stuff or these subscription models, because we need to get someone to hit us up and pay for this plug. But shit,
and like you said, there's a lot of people where this doesn't make sense. But there's a good chunk of people where something like this really does make sense. And between I would only advise doing this if you can pay for a year up front and get that massive, because if you pay monthly for Origin Premier, $180 a year. If you pay in advance, $100. Xbox Pass, I do not actually think that they offer a year up front. Which is, I feel like there's a little weirdness going on, because it's either Xbox Game Pass for $10 a month, or it's Xbox and PC for $15 a month. Can't you just have just PC for $10 a month? I don't understand that.
Ooh, I wonder. So one thing I was just looking at, FIFA and those games aren't on the subscriptions.
They aren't.
So like would you have
they're on the EA one. They're on the EA
can you get
Access
EA
or Origin.
Can you get that subscription on Xbox?
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Oh,
It's called it's called EA Access on the Xbox. It's called Origin Access on PC.
Oh,
Gotcha.
okay.
Sorry. Not to change the subject, Knackers, but
No, that's okay.
interesting.
Yeah, I would advise, like, if you find yourself playing a lot of fucking video games, this might be a great way. Because, like, sometimes you just want to be able to play a game right away that all of your friends can afford to buy and you can't. You're like, oh, well, cool. I spent $60. They played it for 2 hours and nobody likes it anymore. Great to have that. If you don't find yourself playing a lot of video games with friends or multiplayer games at all, might not be the best. If you plan on paying monthly, may not be the best. But if you can do a year up front and cut that piece in half, you play 2 games in 12 months. So let's say you play 2 single player games, 10 hours each. You've already gotten your money's worth plus $20. And it's obviously there's a reason these companies are doing it. It's because they are also making more money. But this is one of those things like with Fortnite. Yeah, that Star Wars shit, they paid a fuckload of money to Disney to get the rights to do that. But they also got a shit dick more money on the back end for people buying skins. And just the 3 million people watching Fortnite in one day on 2 platforms. Like, holy fuck.
I think you're bringing up a good point with, like, how many times when you were a kid did you and your buddies go and buy a game? They played it for like a week, and then like the next week you were like, dude, this game's fun, let's all hop on. And they're like, no, fuck off. Like, I don't want to play that game. Like, that used to happen to me all the time, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of makes a game go stale. Like, whether it be like GTA, it happened with that game for a while. Like Fable was another game where they had, I think it was Fable 3 had multiplayer. People were all about it. And then eventually people stopped playing it. Rust. Like, there's so many games like that where if your friends aren't super passionate about playing it, this is like, if me and my buddies all subscribe to this thing, I now see an opportunity. Like, I didn't really, like, there's different avenues that I don't really understand why they would offer this to people, but just to be able to get people involved in games like Sea of Thieves, so everyone can hop in, and then there's just not that huge upfront investment. The thing that I would say with like the subscription models, the biggest negative that I can think of is if you live somewhere where you just don't have a great internet access. Because looking at like a game like GTA, when GTA 4 came out, you would get, or GTA, was it 5? GTA 5 came out. You would go to the store and you'd buy you'd go and buy the copy of the CD, and then you go home and you'd plug it in, and there was like a 10 gigabyte download, and that took like 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah.
So if you have a shitty network connection, this service doesn't really work for you, right? Like, if you have to download every game before you play them, I feel like that's like the barrier that for users that wouldn't necessarily make sense to me.
This is true. All right.
I have a gig up and gig down, so I'm happy.
Yes, same. I just downloaded what did I download? A Way Out, and I saw Origin top out at 90 megabytes per second. And I'm like, that's really nice. Oh my God. Like, I went and took a shit and it was done. I was so stoked. All right. Game of the Year Awards, the Game Awards 2019, aka fucking the Oscars for advertisements for video games. Weenie and I got online and we did our anniversary dual stream, just token up and watching this and hanging out and talking shit to chat. And holy shit, there were some cool games that were announced, but what a fucking like sellout hashtag ad. The dude who was standing in front of the camera they weren't even announcing award winners from the stage. They were just rattling them off from a fucking side stage. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, content creator of the year is getting announced on a side stage by one dude and one camera with no time to applaud in between. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Whatever. Anyway, so what I wanted to do real quick was just rattle through the winners of each category, just about as fast as they did. And then I want to spend a little more time going on the games that were announced.
All right, you do it, man. I didn't, I just saw this today, like on the category. I actually have it today. And getting through like the pre-show to the actual show, like the fact that it just turned into an ad fest was just like, it was honestly like going to like presser at E3, and then they had like a side stage up top where they were like, okay, hey, we're gonna hand these metal things to people and then pretend like there's like an award show in the top corner, like in one of the booths. But the first thing, if I can, there's a spoiler. It's not a big spoiler, but like one of the spoilers of the winners was they were like, oh, and for the top esports team of the year, they list out like G2, Liquid, blah, blah, blah. They went through them and then they're like, the winner's G2 esports. All right, next. And I was like, that's it?
Yeah.
Like, wait, that's it? Like, you guys didn't, like, there was no time for people, like, no one came up and collected the award. They're just like, oh yeah, the winner's G2. People are like clapping, and then they're like, all right, let's go into an ad for the new Xbox trash can.
Oh my God, seriously. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rattle off, I'm going to read the category, and then I'm going to read the game. For our video watchers, I want you guys to do a thumbs up or thumbs down. Or for the audio listeners, I want you to go yay or nay. Just if you agree or if you disagree with who won, okay? And it's going to go Bishop, Jimmy, and then myself.
Okay.
Can we do this?
So wait, you're putting out the category, and then we're guessing, because I don't remember.
I'm just gonna say the category, and then I'm gonna say the winner, and then you either go yay or nay.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
All right. Game of the year: Death Stranding.
No.
Ladder climbing baby, UFC.
You were supposed to go first, Bishop. You already fucked it up.
No, nay.
Okay. Agreed. Best game direction: Death Stranding.
Wait a minute. Game of the year? Death Stranding didn't win Game of the Year, did
Oh my
it?
God, you're so right. It's Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yay.
Yay. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Best game direction: Death Stranding.
Nay.
Best narrative: Disco Elysium.
Who? Omega who?
Yeah. What?
Who Megalol?
Is that just a mid-old All right.
Eh.
Who?
Best art direction: Control.
Who?
Heard about
You-
that game, haven't played it. but
You don't
I heard
know
it was
about
good.
Control?
I've never heard of it. Yeah. What the?
Oh my God. Well, what the fuck? All right. Best score / music: Death Stranding.
I guess.
Who? I guess. Sick, dude. Grats. Hey, grats, dude. You guys killed it.
Best audio design: Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yay.
Okay. Sure. Why?
Best perform. No, I have no reason. Best performance: Mad Mikkelsen as Cliff. Death Stranding. Games for Impact: Gris.
Oh, I wanted to get that game.
Who Megalol?
Who
What?
Megalol?
No,
Yeah.
I heard really good things about that game. I
Okay.
heard that was a really good game.
Best ongoing game: Fortnite.
Woo, yay.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has to be.
Yeah. Best independent game: Disco Elysium.
Who Megalol?
Okay, cool. Best
Hold on a
mobile.
second. Hold on. Oh, that's Outer Wilds, not Outer Worlds. I was looking at the
Oh,
category.
whoa. What is this game?
Yeah, Katana Zero's good. I don't know what this bab. I know 3 out of those 5 best indie games, but I don't know what this disco game is.
Oh, it looks good.
I don't
Oh, it
either.
looks good. Oh, it looks good.
I'll have
Yay.
to check it out.
I'm gonna take their opinion on it. Honestly, it
Oh.
looks nice.
Best mobile game: Call
I
of
did
Duty.
give it a 9. So it's legit.
So it's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Best mobile game: Call of Duty Mobile.
Sure. Yay.
Best
care.
community support: Destiny 2.
Yay. Yay. Did
Okay.
you wait, hold on. Can you list off the other games that were in that category? Because I'm always a nayer towards Destiny. I always talk shit on it. But the other games that were in that category for what was it? Community support was Fortnite, Rainbow Six Siege. What else was in there? Do you know?
Apex Legends and Final
Apex?
Fantasy 14.
Okay, so the only game that I don't know about in that category is Final Fantasy 14. Fortnite and Rainbow Six have been putting in shit in the game that people ate for fucking months. Like it's a known thing that the community support for Fortnite and Siege that I know of are absolute trash.
And also, Siege has one of the most toxic gaming communities that I've
100%.
ever
And
come
there's
across.
Always cheaters. Like, of course, that one's gonna lose. And I remember when that popped up, I like yelled at Casey. I was like, "Hey, Casey, Destiny 2 might actually win an award right now because like the other games are. Why are they even on this list? They're actually dog shit."
So sad.
Yeah.
Best VR AR game, Beat Saber. Yes.
Yay.
Absolutely. Best action game, Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah. You know what? I'll let them
okay.
have it.
Yeah. Sure.
Best action adventure game, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you shitting over there?
Trash.
I haven't played it, so I can't say.
It's good. It's good.
Best RPG, Disco Elysium.
Really?
It's an RPG?
I
Dude,
have
this game
no
looks
idea.
amazing. I'm
No
watching
idea.
it right now. It actually looks pretty good. It reminds me of what's this other game? Divinity Original Sin.
I haven't
It
played
looks
that game
pretty good.
either.
Okay.
Huh.
Best fighting game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Best family game, Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't have kids. Wait,
I
you're the
didn't-
only kid dweller here. You're the only one person that has kids.
Yeah, you spawn maker.
My
Fine.
kid doesn't want to play Luigi's Mansion 3. So,
Let's give it a big old together. 3, 2, 1, in.
Best strategy game, Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Age of Empires 2,
Yeah.
remastered edition. Just get good. You guys can't beat it.
God damn it. Best sports racing game, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled.
Racing
What?
game?
Yeah.
That's a fucking cartoon
Crash
game.
Team Racing? Are you serious?
But okay, best sports / racing game. The other contenders were Dirt Rally 2, eFootball Pro Evolution Soccer 2020, F1 2019, and FIFA 20.
Wait, hold
FIFA
on. They
20,
put
baby.
racing. They put racing and sports together. Like,
Yes.
okay, there's always an argument about people that drive cars. Are they athletes? Of course they are. Like, it takes talent and physical abilities to drive a car, but like not the same that you would need for sports. But to put those categories together is stupid because FIFA. How do you compare FIFA to a Formula One racing?
It's
game?
apples and oranges, dude. It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. No one gives a shit about the category, I guess.
Yeah.
Throw them all together and put that with like the weeb games and the pornographic games on Steam, and we'll be good.
All right, I'm going to rattle through this quickly because we both have games to talk about and Q&A. So, best multiplayer game, Apex Legends. Fresh indie game presented by Subway.
Subway.
Disco
Hashtag
Elysium.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding, ding.
weird. Content creator of the year, Shroud, who wasn't even there, nor did they actually announce best content creator of the year from the main fucking stage. Okay, boomers.
What he streams? Is that the best content creator?
Not
It's
on
not
any
like
platform that we recognize.
Yeah. Well, he's not. It's so like he's a great streamer, but is he the best content creator? In
No.
gaming?
No,
No. Fuck no.
no, absolutely not.
Absolutely. Not.
The other people, which somebody who's only been a
He's a great
partner
player.
for
I love
like
Shroud.
I don't love Shroud. Personality wise, I have
Yeah.
nothing against him. The other contenders were Courage, Dr. Lubo, Ewok, and Grevg.
Humegalol. Okay.
Best esports game, League of Legends. I just don't like
Ding,
I-
ding, ding, ding. Yes. 100% it is.
Dick.
Yeah.
Best esports player, Kyle Buga Giersdorf, who
That's the
won
kid who
one
won the
Fortnite
Fortnite.
tournament.
Yeah, he won. He seems like a decent kid.
He seems very nice, but that's
Yeah.
like he did what 2 or 3 tournaments that makes him the best esports.
Mm.
I mean, he won against the top Fortnite players in the world. That's the only reason why he got the award.
Fucking Simple was in this goddamn, and he wasn't even like whatever. Best esports team, G2 Esports. LOL. It says LOL in
LOL.
parentheses.
League of Legends.
No, I think that's LOL.
Omega.
No, it means laughing out loud.
Best esports coach is a Humegalol. Best esports host is Fye Sioux Deporte. All I know
Yeah,
is Golden
amazing.
Boy should have
Amazing.
won.
We need like a soundtrack of clapping and cheering.
Speaking of clapping and cheering, did you see that they were blasting applause sound effects on the recording of that? Like they panned to the audience and there was this like roar of applause and nobody in the audience was fucking clapping. Omega lol. Omega lol. Omega lol. Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? All right, anyways, games announced at the awards. So games, aka consoles. Is it weird that they announced the next Xbox console at the Game Awards?
I mean, they've never done something like that before, but I mean, I feel like it makes sense for them in the time wise. I mean, the next Xbox is essentially it's just a more powerful version of what's out now. I mean, that's all it is. It's just a more powerful Xbox One X. So
I think it looks awesome.
It does. It looks cool.
I don't think we're gonna have another. I don't think we're gonna have an Xbox 720 or an Xbox 2 or anything like that anymore. I think this is what we have in the current phase. I think honestly, we're just gonna have stronger and stronger PCs that are just kind of like
it's backwards compatible with all the other stuff that it was before, so you can play any other Xbox games on it. It's a smart move by them, honestly. I really think so. I mean, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'm not gonna buy this. I bought the last generation, but I think it's like Macintosh computers, right? Like you're gonna get the software. The software is gonna be updated across platforms. You're just getting a stronger PC or a stronger computer that's gonna be able to do more and more shit. It's the same software and interface on the back end, but like I think that it's going to continue to be like this, where you get a new Xbox and then eventually maybe in like 2 or 3 years from now they'll be like, oh hey, this is time that we're going to put like a new label and then like rebuild our like the core of what the engine looks like for the actual product. But I feel like the next 2 renditions of Xbox are just going to be more and more and more powerful. I don't think that they're going to have a name brand because they don't really need to.
No.
Right. And I think the only thing that differentiates this from a computer is the UI, right? Yeah. It's the UI, it's the connectivity. There is still always going to be people who don't want to mess with a computer. They just want to plug this thing into a TV, put their game in the slot or download it and just play it. Yeah. There's always going to be a market for those much less fortunate people. And I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sorry. And I don't honestly I don't blame them. I really don't. I have been considering having somebody else build my next PC for me, even though I am very capable of doing it myself. I just don't want to fucking do it. Like there's just other things that I would rather do with the time. There's just like, you could buy an Xbox Elite controller or you could just like 3D print one and build it yourself. Like you could get the PCBs printed from China, wait the 9 months for them to get shipped. And then you could get your plastic, dipped and painted over in Indiana. There's this place like, no, dude, I'd rather just fucking plug it in and use it.
Yeah.
So I totally respect people that want to do that. I think it's cool. I don't know why it got so much negativity. I mean, it's not like this was unexpected. This was very much expected. What were they calling it before? Was it Project Scarlet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Project Scarlet's them migrating everything to the cloud. So then things are basically all of the rendering is going to end up happening in the cloud instead of having to have a localized graphics card. I think that's what Scarlet was. Part of me, like the reason that they released it at this show is probably because they missed another deadline. They're like, oh, what's coming up? Oh, the Game Awards. Oh, they're announcing Shroud's the best content creator. Sick. What's the best game? Oh, the game where you basically WWE a baby off of a ladder and then crush it and then you have to shake it back to be cool. Like that's a great game. Best game of the year, by the way.
I play that.
So yeah, I think that Scarlet. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I think that Scarlet was them migrating things into the cloud.
They're doing that. They've actually they have a limited market. They're testing it right now. Their cloud services gaming, which is basically Microsoft's version of what Google Stadia is. And but apparently it works pretty well. And I know there's going to be some lag and some other things, but it just really kind of depends on the game you're playing. Like you wouldn't want to play a game that's, where you have to have exact inputs at certain frames for it to work. Like I couldn't see myself playing. Yeah, I couldn't see you couldn't play like a retro game platformer. You couldn't play, but a lot of the games that are available to play would apparently would be just fine playing with that cloud type of gaming. Again, I'm not sure who that market's for 100% because I know me personally, I don't know why I'd want to get into it because if I'm at home, I've got my consoles and my everything else, so I would just use that. If I'm away from home, I'm away from home for usually work and or vacation, so it's not like I'm there to just play games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that to me is like the whole idea behind this cloud gaming push. Like I don't really know who that market is for. I guess.
Yeah, I think it's just to prove that Microsoft Azure is a decent product because they're basically just marketing it against what Google has. I don't even know what theirs is called. But
Stadia.
Stadia stupid.
Yeah. Dude, I honestly we've seen enough of this bullshit where you get a cheesy, crappy piece of hardware and then you have all of the encoding happening in the cloud. And obviously in the past they didn't have the technology to do it. But I am a huge fan of having power where as hardware localized, right? I get having it in the cloud, but I like Xbox's approach because they're not saying, hey, we're going to get rid of Xbox and you just plug a dongle in a Fire Stick into your TV and you can play games. We're going to give you a piece of decent hardware and then we'll keep I don't know what it's going to be in the cloud. Is it going to be high resolution textures? Are they going to keep most of the game files there and then local, on your computer, you have your game saves and things that are, that you want to boot more quickly. I don't necessarily mind. I like Xbox's model better than at Google's because Google seems like their hardware is kind of a piece of shit. From just looking at the specs of it. But yeah, it'll be cool. It'd be interesting. I think that if you took this recording in 20 years from now and you look back and you're probably like, God, these guys are fucking idiots. They were playing with hardware and not just pulling a piece of glass out of their pocket. Yeah, I think things will probably change in a way that we're not expecting, but. Honestly, I like the idea of having, like I said, I like the idea of having a decent piece of hardware on the on the user's end instead of just having it all be a bunch of shit, right? Just in the cloud and just crap in front of you.
There's a reason why the Mac Pro, computers like the Mac Pro that just came out still exist. It is because there is still very much a need for powerful local hardware. Yeah. I was actually just watching a video, obviously, because I'm an Apple sheep. It was a Jonathan Morrison YouTube video. They put the Mac Pro, a fully spec Mac Pro, in the hands of music producers, and even the top of the line one, they were able to get pretty close to maxed out on CPU power, which is fucking insane. And that thing can ship with 350 plus gigs of RAM.
Holy shit!
Say again, 360 something. Yeah, I can't. It's an insane amount. I think the top spec Mac Pro is $55,000.
Yeah,
wow. It's something insane. But when a producer can go in and go, yeah, I can load a track with 60 plugins and 100 layers and not even bat an eye, bat.
No one cares. Yeah. When you have I bet you there's a few people in chat that are like, what the fuck's wrong with these guys? They keep making these bird sounds they
welcome to Crocs in Hot Pockets.
They're bat sounds.
Oh, bat sounds. I'm sorry.
Yes,
these guys might be bat crazy. So sorry.
I think eventually you get to a point where for a user, obviously you're holy shit, $55,000. Oh my God, Apple's so disconnected from their users. $50,000, you're crazy. But if you look in a business perspective, $55,000 is really not that much.
Nothing.
Right? If you're getting a piece of hardware that can pretty much run your business, if you're running a graphics house or something along those lines, you can buy a piece of hardware that can ultimately do all the things you need to do. It's really not that big of an expense. When I used to, it's funny, I've been working with this company called UMG that does a bunch of Fortnite live broadcasts and events and stuff like that.
They copyright all my YouTube videos.
Do they? Oh God, dude, nice. No, not the music, not UMG music. It's UMG Gaming. UMG Gaming. But they, it's interesting because back when I used to run live production and broadcasting, we used to have these things that would sit on a table, these production switchers that would cost between $80,000 and $200,000 that you just literally push buttons and switch between. And everyone's just using OBS now, right? The difference between those type of business costs, 200 grand for production switcher back then. People were like, oh, who gives a shit, right?
Right.
But nowadays, like you'd be like, oh my god, that's crazy. But ultimately,
Yeah. Do you think fucking Senior Bugatti really gives a shit if an iMac stand costs $1,000 or a Mac Pro stand rather? Like, no.
they don't give a shit. It's all they'll write it off, man. The more expensive it is, the better. The more
Write-offs,
expensive the
baby.
taxes, dude. Write-offs, baby.
Quickly before we get into the Q&A, instead of just talking about every single game that they announced, we'll just talk about the shittiest one, and then the one we're excited about. That Fast and the Furious trailer, though. Oh my disappointment. It looks like, I don't know. This is going to go way back. Fast and the Furious looks like an old game that I used to play called Big Red Racing, or like Windows 98. And if anybody knows what that is, I'll blow you because you have good taste in video games. That game looks so fucking bad. Everything about it looks absolutely terrible. I wanted to like it. I'm a Fast and the Furious fan. I drink Vin Diesels every goddamn week. But this game looks atrocious.
Is this a mobile game?
No, it's a PC game. That is a PC and Xbox game. Crossroads is more of a team-based action game built around heists, and it brings back some of the main cast from the films. It launches on PC, PS4, and Xbox One in May 2020.
Bro, can we stop for a second and talk about them making a fucking Wolf Among Us 2, baby?
No, because we need to talk about the Sons of the Forest, a.k.a. The Forest 2.
What?
What?
I didn't play The Forest 1. I already told you, I don't have any friends.
Okay.
Dude, why don't you play with me, Jimmy? You know, let's just play together, bro.
Crocs and Hot Pockets, The Forest?
Dude, I'm so down just to like sit and talk ship. And is that what it talk shop? I don't
Okay,
know.
How many people can you play it at the same time?
8.
8, 9, 10. 8. Yeah.
Also, I've already promised 3 different groups of friends that I would play The Forest with them again, so I might be
We
able
didn't
to
invite
certain-
you. This is between me and
Yeah,
Elliot.
who said you were coming, bro? What the?
Way to invite yourself.
Yeah, sick guy, dude.
I got fucking kicked out of my own
What are you,
podcast.
Twitch
Sorry,
viewer?
guys. I can't play with you. I already got all these people that want to play the game with me. So, you know, I really can't.
I really can't do it, but if you guys want me,
I mean, if you want me to.
I am available. I am available
All
for
right,
gameplay.
We'll talk about this off the podcast. See if we can. How long does it take to beat that game? It's like I don't know. Like how long is it?
I think because you need to do exploring in that game, but not a lot. I would say you could probably do the campaign with a group of 4 friends in 15 hours. I would
Damn,
think.
dude, that's a lot of work.
yeah, it's like a fun little exploration game. It's a cool game to go into with people that don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
It's like Minecraft in a way, but like it's a little spooky element to it. You
Okay.
would really like it. I think you'd
Okay.
enjoy it.
All right, well, we'll talk about it.
This-
Yeah,
this-
remember-
we could.
Going back to
Yeah.
this Fast and Furious game, do you remember a game called Vigilante on N64?
Yes.
Vigilante.
Dude,
Yes.
Vigilante.
With the bus on the cover
Yeah,
and the little
with the
8
RPG.
Vigilante 8.
Yes,
What's the
that's
name
the
of it?
game.
Yeah.
I was literally just fucking-
Vigilante.
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 Bro. It's a
Vig- no,
bro.
Vigilante.
It's a
Vigilante.
Lante. It's a Lante.
Dude, fucking if either of you say vigilante incorrectly one more time,
Vigilante?
you're
VIGI Lante.
yes.
LANTE Lante.
I'm actually glad that you referenced that game and not Twisted Metal because I always thought that Vigilante was the way better car shooting
So
game.
good. Did
Yeah.
you remember just driving around in like there's like the desert town where there was like the donut building?
Yes.
Oh, the donut shop.
Yeah.
So like I was just watching that trailer for Fast and Furious and I thought to myself like this is the exact same graphic.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh, I'm gonna
I
post
actually
the link in
I
chat.
had that game for N64. It was one of the only games with guns that our parents would let us play because there was no people or blood. You were just shooting
Yeah,
cars.
I remember way back in the day in our we were taking a trip with our family. It was me, my brothers and sisters, my parents, and then our grandparents. So like we had a Lincoln Navigator that had 3 rows. My parents were in the front. Grandparents were like second row, and then the kids were in the back. But we had one of the TVs that kind of dropped down, just a little dinky one.
Ooh.
And I think we were playing on an Xbox, the original Xbox, and we were playing this I don't know if it was Call of Duty. It was some off-brand Desert Storm type of shooter game. And the way that it works is you couldn't see guns in first person. And this is going back to like playing games that you're allowed to play. And I remember my parents were saying, hey, no playing anything violent while we're in the car with the grandparents. So my brother and I were playing this first person shooter game that literally we were walking around like this desert landscape and we were shooting each other, but there was no guns in like the first person's perspective. And my mom's like, hey, what are they playing back there? And my grandpa's like, oh, it's some like they're going around looking at some like the Egypt or something. It's fantastic. And like my brother and I were trying to like not try to kill each other when they were watching, because the only thing that they could see is like the enemy character model. They couldn't see
so wholesome
gun model in this split screen game. It was so funny. But yeah, they never knew.
Dude,
Yo, Ghost of Tsushima, that shit looks badass.
I'm still
Final
looking at
Fantasy
videos
7
of
remake looks badass.
Vigilante 8. This
Dude,
is
Vigilante 8. Excuse me.
Vigilante, yeah. Don't fuck that up, Knacker. Come on, dude.
I play. Wait a minute. Why does this? This looks so much different, like level wise, than what I remember. Oh, okay. Okay. Now I think I was just seeing a level that I wasn't used to seeing before.
Yo, and this thing about PUBG, the studio behind PUBG announced this game called Prologue, which nobody knows anything about.
I am hesitant. However, I'm willing to give it a chance.
I'm willing to give it a chance. They made fucking buckets of money off of PUBG, I'm sure. Like, not where Fortnite is, obviously, but I'm sure they made a good amount of money. So, I mean, all right, nobody really knows what the fuck it is, but
is it just another hype fest of like people being
it could it makes me think a little bit about like what's the one we were just talking about on the Game Awards?
The Kojima one?
Yeah. It kind of makes me. It's kind of that approach I think they're taking in a way with like the hyping of this, but to me it seems a little more intriguing just what they've shown of it than that was. So yeah.
So if you go to their website, it's playprologue.com. It literally it's the exact same video of like the forest area with lightning and shit, and you can sign up with your email. I feel like they have no idea what they're doing. They're like, okay.
They're just like, we had to have something for the Game Awards. Let's just take a clip of this CG rendered forest.
Yeah, scene. This is Death Stranding 2.0. What's going to happen? Here's my thought. In like 2 or 3 months from now, people are going to be like, hey, what the fuck is that Prologue thing? You guys remember that from that dog shit game show thing where they had like a bunch of ads that no one wanted, and then they made Shroud the best content creator? Oh, yeah. I remember that thing. Yeah, remember that stupid bullshit with Prologue? Yeah, what was that? And then there's going to be like tweets and shit will go out about it. And then back in the development studio, they're going to be sitting there like, holy fuck, we haven't done anything. What can we do? And then they're going to have a meeting and they're like, okay, let's get Keanu Reeves. And then they'll bring Keanu Reeves in and he's going to walk through the forest and people are going to be like, fuck, this game is insane. Holy shit, there's fucking lightning and rain and trees and there's Keanu Reeves. Are you kidding me? People are going to go ape shit. They're going to sell thousands of copies. And then the game will come out in like 5 or 6 years and people will be like, it's just a baby WWE simulator where you basically jump
my God. Or like that game Identity. You guys remember that whole shit? Oh, God.
Wasn't that the one where there was supposedly like this really in-depth world where you could become anyone? You could be a police officer. It was going to have great graphics. It was ultimately going to be like GTA RP on steroids. And then nothing ever
bombed. Absolutely bombed. It's got terrible reviews in Steam right now.
Oh, is it out?
I don't know if it's just a preview that's out or an alpha, but it is on Steam, downloadable, viable, and terrible.
Awful.
Absolutely terrible. Yeah, because back when I was managing Altus Life servers in fucking like 2015, 2014, this game was still being advertised like fucking shit.
I remember back then I was playing DayZ, or I was probably playing some like 2 months at that point. And I remember seeing this and I was like, this seems a little bullshit. Like this was all coming about when Kickstarter was a thing. And then people like prior to people like there's two phases of Kickstarter becoming a thing and people are like, whoa, this is all interesting. And then phase 2 of Kickstarter was when it was in decline and people are like, oh, everything on here is pretty much just bullshit.
Dog shit.
Like no one's actually getting deliverables, right? Like no one's actually receiving anything.
Yep.
And I remember looking at it and I was like, okay, this is one of those things that's just never going to become a thing. It's just like a cool idea. And it's like some dude's fantasy that wants to create like the greatest game of all time, but hasn't ever made anything. Right. And like watching this right now, like this is no better than GTA RP graphics wise, like probably a little shittier, maybe running on the Arma engine. Yeah, it looks like trash.
Okay, real quick, before we get into the Q&A, what is happening? Let me rephrase this. What the flipping flying fuck is happening with Star Citizen?
I have no idea. I don't even know what the fuck Star Citizen is really.
Somebody who is listening to this podcast, please DM me and tell me what the fuck is going on with this game. Because it's been a decade and I still don't know. This is like Death Stranding before it was Death Stranding.
This is like it's just a ton of hype around. I remember watching the Swedish guy stream this, and all he was doing was using the face replication software because it uses a camera to track your face, so you can do like emotes. And he was just sitting going like this, like stretching his face out as much as possible, or like going up to other players and going.
This game has more fucking funding than any game in the history of games, and they're still just what?
Oh my god! Oh, Rabaz is his name. I'll find you some clips and I'll post them in your Discord. But there's some. Honestly, I think that they spent a little too much time on the face tracking thing. They spent probably a majority of their budget there, and then now they're sitting in that boardroom, same as
like,
same as the PUBG guys, and they're like, "Holy."
Them and identity.
we blew all of our time playing Fortnite and going out to really nice dinners. This is fucked.
Fuck. Alrighty. Now we venture into the question and answer. Are you ready?
Yeah.
First question from MiddleAgedStream. aka Jimmy. What's the point of a countdown if we don't actually do it right?
I am the boner chain.
It got farther than it's ever gone before. It says Cham. You're a boner Cham.
Close. We made it almost. We almost made it.
Good enough.
We almost did it.
Next question comes from Bishop.
Where are these questions coming from?
BishopGP. How much would you be willing? How much would you be willing for Crocs services every month? First of all, this is
to pay for that.
Yeah, you said how much would you be willing for Crocs services every month? Learn to sentence first, Bishop Japa.
I'd be willing, brother. I'd be willing, Crocs, brother.
I'd be down for some dicks. Next question comes from Ghost in the Stram. What is the longest you have shot or flicked nose gold? The longest?
Question. I think when I was in high school, I flicked one across the classroom and it hit somebody in the back of the head. So that's probably a good 30 feet.
I don't think I've ever tracked it, man. I can't answer.
I mean, it's an estimate. It's not an exact science, but I would say might be longer than that. Maybe about 40 feet. About 40 feet.
Yeah, maybe a sneeze. Maybe like a sneeze real quick. Like if I accidentally sneeze and a booger goes flying and then it hits something, you're like, oh.
Okay, here's the thing. How do you know how far your boogers go when you flick them? As soon as it leaves your finger, you have no idea where it goes. It's gone. So that I feel like I can't answer. As far as snot, I don't know about 40 feet. I've probably done because I've never emptied my nose off of like a balcony or anything, but I have done like a loogie. Like I have spit. So I don't know. I don't think I can say very far for either of those.
Dudes, let me ask you guys both something here related to this. Have either one of you guys ever used a neti pot?
No.
No.
You know what it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Those things are fucking life changers, bro. Like,
really?
Yeah, you get the good sinus rinse, the little warm saline in there, the little salt that goes in. Put that through your frontal sinus. You feel like a new man.
Really?
Yeah. Get yourself a good neti pot, man. Get you a little sinus rinse. It's gross as fuck doing it with the shit that comes out of there, but I'm telling you, life changing.
I always thought that neti pots were the equivalent of those earwax cones, where you you set the earwax cones on fire and somehow earwax magically just comes out of your ears.
Yeah. The key thing, and chat's mentioning, you can't use tap water. You got to use actually distilled water when you're doing the neti pot because you can get like infections and stuff. But it's you could just use
nasal
water.
vigilante.
Yeah, you could use just bottled water, dude. I'm telling you, man. It feels good. Like I probably get myself a good old sinus rinse about 2 or 3 times a year. Easy.
See, I very, very rarely have sinus issues. I'll just get my one cold a year, and that's like all of the noses, like the sinus issues that I have.
Because maybe being here in the South where there's all the fucking shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
That's why.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, next question comes from Gigantic Gent. What are some must-have apps for iPhones? I just switched.
Wow. Congratulations.
Fuck, let me scroll through my... I have so many. All right.
Must have is the stipulation here. So I'm gonna limit all of us to 3 apps.
Fuck that. I need 10.
No, fuck. That's it. 3. You get 3. That's it. That's all you get. Okay? That's all you get. That's all you fuckers.
Okay.
You want me to go first? I'll make this really easy. I'll eliminate some of the apps for you guys, right? If you're going to download an iPhone, is this specific to iPhone or is this just in general?
Yeah, iPhone.
Okay.
Well, there's plenty of apps that are just straight up better on the iOS than they are on.
Yeah.
So I would say specific.
I have one called Escort, and it tells you where cops are when you're driving. So you can hook it up to your radar detector, and it tells you where that stuff's at. Super cool. Another one that's really fun is called Gear Club. I may or may not work with them, so download Gear Club and spend all your money right there.
Wow.
It's a fun racing game that you can play on mobile, dude. It's fun, dude. Get in there. And then a third one is easily Twitter, man. Just get Twitter. Super nice.
Very nice. All right, Knackers, you go. All right, I'll go mine first. So
Mixer.
I'll use some of my stuff on my homepage. So I have the Reddit, the regular Reddit app. You don't have to buy any third-party one. The regular Reddit app for iPhone is exceptional. It's really, really good. Knackers can talk all the shit he wants, but I've used different ones, and I think that it's just fine. Then I also would say obviously I know you're going to download Twitch, so you can have that. Obviously Twitter and Discord and that sort of stuff you're going to download. What's a good app for you? Obviously you can pretty much use whatever your favorite music app is. Shit. And then another thing that's cool, but you don't have to download it. It comes with it. There's the Measure app. And those you can do some fun stuff with that and send your wife or girlfriend pictures with things that you have measured. That's
your penis, for instance.
That could be one.
I've tried that. It's not accurate.
It always says 2.5.
It says 2 every time.
Oh, if you're looking for a good VPN that's really relatively cheap, I use Viper VPN. Is the VPN service I use, and so yeah, I'd go for that one. Oh, did I take one of yours, bitch?
Nope. It's just this stream is sponsored by NordVPN. So
well,
just kidding.
Suck it, Nord. All right.
Go back to your northern region, bitch.
All right. First of all, the default Reddit app sucks ding-a-ling. And
no, it doesn't, dude. It is fucking great. Don't listen to him. Don't listen. Hey, do not fucking listen. We know who the boner champ is here.
The first app that you should get for Reddit is Apollo.
Oh,
okay.
God. Here we go.
All right. My next favorite app is a to-do list app. It's a very simple, easy to use to-do list. Like, I'm somebody who, if you tell me something and I need to do it, I'm pulling out my phone and I'm writing it down so I don't forget it.
Let me get this. I'm gonna download this now.
Wait, what is this called?
I didn't even say. You fucking assholes.
I'm waiting, dude. We're waiting.
Fucking say it.
Hurry up, Knackers. Why are you
You're stalling.
Anyways, my next app that I like the most, it's Clear. It's Clear.
Clear?
Yep.
Clear.
I'm going to do 4 because Fuck Jimmy and his goddamn default Reddit app.
Clear
you had
one
to
glance
adjust.
and you're through? Clear?
Clear. It has a white check mark as an icon.
Wait. I downloaded a different one.
Clear to-dos?
Oh my god. Let me
Wait.
open up my app store, you plebs.
Wait,
What
Clear
the fuck?
Mobile?
There's like a million things
Magic
here.
Cleaner. Oh, that's the one. Free
Clear
mobile.
clear to dos. Clear to dos.
It's $5 fucking dollars.
Well, it used to be free, so suck my ass.
I'm not paying
This shit
$5
sucks,
for this
man.
bullshit. I've
Dude,
got
this shit sucks,
look,
man.
all you need is the Notes app, and you just put the little check mark next to the stuff that you need to do.
Hey Jimmy, what else do you use your Notes app for?
All my passwords. Yes.
I've spent so much money on applications because as soon as you pay for the right app that works, it's a wonderful thing. Okay, for my number 3. Oof. So before Twitter changed their API and really limited what other apps could use, Tweetbot for iOS was hands down the best Twitter application. Now Tweetbot doesn't support push notifications, and it's very limited in its functionality. For my last application, I will have to say, like, I'm trying to think of like what I use the most, but there's not a lot of things that are specific to iOS.
Oh, I have a good one. Can I do another one?
Yes.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, go
can
ahead.
Can I redact mine? So I used to do a lot of. Oh my god, this one has an update. I used to do a lot of stuff with video cameras, right? Like filming things outside of live video. And this one is called Movie Slate, and it gives you a slate for your camera, so you can ultimately get like real time codes.
Oh,
Which is
wow.
really cool. Yeah, it's really badass. So you just run this in front of all of your cameras, and it's UTC time, which is pretty cool. And you can kind of put in like any information that you want for that certain scene. And it's cool because you can actually plug in data from real world cameras into this if you have a physical slate. So that's a cool little one.
I have 3 more because I don't give a fuck. The first one is Fantastical. That is my calendar app that I use on iOS and iPadOS. Shit. Oh my god.
Dude, I have a
InShot.
really good one.
InShot is my video editing app on my iPhone. It is so fucking robust. It's not even funny. And then 1Password, which isn't specific.
InShot?
InShot. Yep.
We're
It's
all
a
sharing apps
subscription.
right now.
I think it's $2 a month, but that's how I do all of my video editing mobile when I'm uploading like Twitch clips to Twitter, or I mean, like the greatest thing about it is being able
How
to
the fuck
change.
do you download the Twitch clips to your phone?
I'm so glad you asked. I have a shortcut. So iOS 13 introduced shortcuts. People can literally code things. So I have I'll send it to you. Remind me to send Jimmy my Twitch clip downloader shortcut.
Donor Champs file.
It's basically a shortcut that somebody else created that you download to your phone, where you copy a link to a Twitch clip into the iOS Shortcuts app, and it downloads the clip to your camera roll.
No
Oh, that's
way.
fucking sweet, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see myself actually doing some clip stuff if I could do it from my fucking phone.
Here's a really dumbass app that's really cool. So like I just came across this. I never use my phone. Like I almost never use my phone nowadays, unless it's for like Instagram, Twitter.
I know.
Making phone calls. I never use my shit. So I'm like on page number 1 or 2 of like the apps that I stopped using. One that's really interesting is an app called New Digits, and all that it does is it tells you what contacts have recently been added and when to your phone. So if you ever meet someone and then they give you your, like I always forget people's numbers, but like if you meet someone and they give you their contact and say you're out drinking or whatever, and then you get home and then you go and look and you were like, oh fuck, I forgot their first name or their last name. You can see contacts added based on the time that they were added, which is cool. So that's another nice one.
Lastly, 1Password for iOS. There's probably some other apps that do this as well. But let's say you download Facebook, just for the sake of example. You download Facebook to your phone, okay? And then it says, hey, enter in your username and password. You look at the phone and you say, password is stored in 1Password. Face ID scans your face, unlocks 1Password, automatically inputs your Facebook username and password, and then you're logged into the app. I pretty much do that for everything. Anytime I need to log into a website using Safari and I don't have the login on me, because you should be using a password manager and you should know logins to anything that you get into. Having Face ID and a password manager together on a mobile device is a motherfucking godsend. Also, shout out to Authy for 2-factor authentication.
Yeah. One other really good one, and I know this is not what you were maybe looking for. I don't know how big in the news you are, and I'm a history teacher, so like news. But there's a news app I like to use called Quartz. It's a global business news app. And they redid it. It used to be like it would send you almost like in the form of text messages, the way it would send it. But I don't know. It's just a really cool app, and they send you notifications that are actually, they're not going to buzz or beep your phone when they send it. It's cool stuff. Like I feel like it's a way to kind of keep track of the news of things that are not always like bad news, just things that are going on in the business world, and it's media, entertainment included. So if you're into news and you want like a news app that can kind of unobtrusively send you stuff, I would recommend trying that app out. So
to keep up with the theme of me interjecting every time you guys list any of yours, so I get twice as many or 3 times as many at this rate. One that is really cool is called Reflector Director, and it turns any iOS device into a computer monitor. So you can use like an iPad as a computer screen if you have like a laptop or something like that. It's actually really, really cool. There's another one and I completely lost it, so I'm just going to forget about it for the next 30 years.
All right. It's my actual last one.
Gonna go on for like 4
Dude,
hours.
I'm such a sucker for fucking apps, man, because they just make my life so easy. This is only going to be interesting for like 3 people listening. Like 3 out of the 4 people that are listening to this podcast. There's a notes taking app called Bear, and it allows you to write in Markdown. So you can format your notes using Markdown, which is the same coding language that Twitch uses for profile banners. Yeah. And they have
Doesn't Discord also use Markdown?
Discord as well.
Hey, okay.
So it's a very like technical kind of nerdy way to take notes. The organization is a little odd. It takes some getting used to, but I don't know what it is. I really, really, really love the Bear Notes app. I still use the iOS Notes app. This might be an Apple sheep thing to say, but there are honestly so many really, really good parts of iOS that are now built in, like the default reminders app, the default notes app. I hate the calendar app. Things like AirDrop, Apple Music. There's just so many things that are built in. I find myself going to third-party apps less and less and less nowadays, which is awesome because, it's always much better when things are native. But yeah, dude, anytime you have questions about apps, dude, I would not be surprised if I have close to $400 spent in iOS and macOS apps, like within the App Store. 100%, absolutely. But for the most part, I never swipe to my second screen. All of the apps that I use are on screen number 1.
Dude, mine's a shit show. I have like 10 years of history of apps. That's why it took me so long to find one that I
have my second screen has folders full of apps, but a lot of them are like simple shit like that I don't use that often, but I still use. Like I have like all my different finance apps. Like I have PayPal, my bank account, my phone bill shit. Like I've got my travel apps like Southwest Airlines, which I only use that app like once or twice a year, but I still use it.
And that's the same thing for me. Like second page is just folders of all of the apps that I don't use.
I agree. Most of what I use is on my home screen. Like 90% of the apps I use, I can fit all on the one home screen.
Right. I have a soundboard.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh my god.
I have a soundboard. Yeah, that one's nice. I use that when I play Siege. I could hook it up to my mixer and I just fucking click shit.
Fuck with people.
Yeah.
All
That's a
right.
good one.
Next question. We're just fucking gonna blast through these. From Smashtown. Do you guys have a preferred console?
Xbox. I've always wanted to be a PlayStation guy, but I've never made the switch, and all my friends played Xbox, so I'm stuck.
I like all my consoles equally. I probably play the Xbox the most, but that's not because, ironically, it's not because it has the most exclusives. It's because the games that it has, you can find them anywhere. And the Xbox One X that I'm playing on now, it's the most powerful of all the consoles because it can do some 4K shit.
Yeah.
So
Not
I mean,
anymore, dude. They came out with a new one, dude.
well, it's not out yet, but but I mean, Nintendo's has some amazing exclusives, as do PS4. It really just depends on what I'm playing. So the best answer I could say is I play the Xbox the most, but honestly, I play all of them. So
I don't have an Xbox. I would say the Nintendo Switch is my favorite console. I love both the Switch and the PS4 equally, except the PS4 has the worst manufactured controller in the history of controllers.
I hate the PS4 controller also.
Switch
I
all
was gonna
day.
stop you right there, Knackers. If you were gonna say anything but Nintendo because you're wearing a Nintendo shirt.
Yeah, baby.
Poser, you fucking poser.
Second to last question from Ka Seiro. Oh, Casey Roo. Okay. Elliot, did you drink that whole cider because you were supposed to share?
I saved some. She said she wanted to try it, so I saved her like 10%.
I saved some
so you gave her the
backwash for you,
backwash.
bitch.
There you go. Enjoy it.
Last question from Casey Roo as well. If you could jump into any game and exist in that universe, what would it be? Grav.
Wait, read the question one more time.
Grav.
Grav. If you could jump into any game and exist in that universe, what would it be?
Oh,
That's a good question.
I'd fucking jump into a Star Wars game without a fucking
Yeah.
easy. Like
Yeah, I
I
think-
jump in the most recent one, dude.
Pod racing.
Oh yeah.
dude.
Fuck yeah, dude. I just beat Jedi Fallen Order. The game was fucking awesome.
Fortnite,
Yeah.
dude, because the world is every world. They're gonna have Star Wars in there, dude. I got my Fortnite 90 building skills, dude.
John Wick is in there, dude.
Yeah. No, I don't. I think any storytelling game like Divinity is a good one. I think Witcher would be a cool world to be. That would kind of suck, honestly.
Dude, hot
Eaten
babes
alive.
turn into fucking blood sucking sluts. You don't want that shit.
Yeah, that's iffy. But yeah, I think. Yeah. I like it.
Astroneer.
Ooh, chat just said, "Oh, Kingdom Hearts. That would be a good one."
Ooh.
There's all kinds of shit in Kingdom Hearts.
I don't understand people that like Kingdom Hearts.
Are you serious, dude? Kingdom
I
Hearts is
am-
cool.
I am very serious. I understand that I am the loner and that there are millions of people that like Kingdom Hearts.
You just
Dude.
don't understand the fantasy of shoving keys in your ass, dude.
The thing is, Kingdom Hearts. I didn't understand it either until I played it, and then I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, it just seems like a weird mashup of Final Fantasy and Disney shit, but it's actually pretty cool. So,
Like when I
get it.
saw gameplay from the most recent Kingdom Hearts that everybody waited like decades for,
yeah.
I was in shock. But it's because I didn't play it as a kid. I didn't grow up with it. It's not nostalgic to me. I understand
Right.
I'm on the outside, but as an outsider, I look and go,
Dude, I just bought it, dude. I guess, and the game came out less than a year ago. I just bought it on sale like last month for like $15. Yeah. Damn, dude.
yeah.
What's crazy is Kingdom Hearts 2, like that shit was selling at full price for like 6-7 years after release.
Yeah, it went ham.
But this last one didn't do nearly as well. I'm gonna play it, but yeah, I'm not really. Yeah. Anyway.
Word. Well, motherfuckers, that is the end of the Q&A, and that is also the end of this podcast. So what we're going to do is go around this room one final time, reintroduce you to everybody here. They will shout out their social media and what they have going online in the coming weeks. So Bishop, we will start with you, you fucking folded beanie headed fuck.
Yeah, I got a good old folded beanie. I had to wear a beanie after you and Conbar last time. So
Yeah, the nippleheads, bro. Join us.
Yeah, brother.
I got one that's nice and pluffed back. My name is Elliot Bishop, aka BishopGP. You can find me on Twitch at BishopGP, or you can find me on Twitter at BishopWasHere. And yeah, I have a few cool things coming up, but it's all work related stuff, so nothing too exciting. I'm rank 25 on all of my server for PvP. So I'm
Is
stoked
that
about
good?
for World of Warcraft? Dude, I'm fucking insane. I'm one of the best. Get top 25. There's like 1,000 or there's like 3,000 people in the pool, so I'm still not.
And
the
you're
best.
top 25?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that is good.
Yeah, I need to spend more time. But it's not a skill thing, it's just the amount of time that you spend. So
Okay.
My name is Jimmy, aka MiddleAgedStream. You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at MiddleAgedStream, MiddleAgedStream on Twitter. Got a weird schedule this week. It's my last week of work. New Star Wars movies coming out. I got a friend coming from out of town that's gonna be staying with me for a couple days, so my schedule is a little wonky. I just started up replaying the Mass Effect series this last weekend, so I'm on Mass Effect 1. We'll be playing that again on Tuesday, and then I'm gonna try and catch some time a little bit in this coming weekend, but I don't know for sure when, because like I said, I got a friend in town, so it gonna be good though. I love that fucking game.
My name is Knackers, and you can find me on this very channel or on Twitter and Instagram at Knackers with 3 A's. Thank you all so very much for checking out this episode of the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast, episode 115. We are not going to be back in 2 weeks. Do you guys want to take a break? So the in 2 weeks is the 29th, which is the weekend after Christmas. Do you guys feel like you want to take a week to chill out? I know you guys are every other week, whereas I'm every week. But do you want to have do you have family coming in? You guys doing any gangbangs?
This on us to give you a break.
No, because I can take a break whenever I want. But if you guys are like, hey, I need a break this Sunday, I can guilt trip you. But I won't feel guilted if you say take a break.
It's up to Jimmy, man. Jimmy's the only guy with a real life here.
Why don't we come back in 2 weeks and we play the fucking Forest?
Ooh.
Okay, I'm not gonna say yes while my other friend groups are watching. So let's discuss this.
Okay, you discuss, and then that's something to consider. We could do like a special podcast for the end of 2019. I feel like we could do something fun. I'm gonna be around.
Some game, some game.
I'm gonna be around. Cool. I'm gonna be around. I know. Obviously, it could be cool. It could be cool.
We could also do some real rage-inducing shit, like Move or Die.
Oh,
how would we play Getting Over It multiplayer? You dingus.
We would basically all be playing our own.
I would win. What's the point?
You would lose. So
I would
fast.
lose without a doubt.
You do need to do that, Jimmy. You do need to play Getting Over It.
It's super fun, man.
No.
Fun.
All right. Anyways, as far as my streaming schedule, to be quite blunt, has been absolutely fucked lately. As soon as I removed Tuesdays from my streaming schedule, I got so busy at work that I started only streaming on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm not going to make any promises. Like, dude, I promise my schedule is going to get better, and there's great things that are coming on the horizon. I don't know. My future is completely unplanned, and I have no idea what's going to go on. I could quit streaming in a month for all you guys know. But what I do know is that I do have to pee. So I'm going to end this podcast. Okay. All right, cool. So look, we will most likely not be back anymore. Okay. We might be back in 2 weeks. We're not going to be back in 1 week. So you might see us, but you also might not. So since you're not going to see us, I'm going to guilt chat into sticking around so that we can raid another channel and send our love to somebody else. So thank you guys so very much for checking out this episode of the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. We love you, audio listeners in the future. We love you. Really appreciate you all. And if we don't see you, have a very Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. Be safe. Remember, New Year's resolutions suck ass and you're weak if you wait until January 1. So just start your New Year's resolution today.
My resolution is to end every podcast making bat sounds.
All right, bye guys.
Later, dude. Later.